You're live, sir. You're live. Post it on. Oh, cool. I got the notification as well.
Hello, hello. Can everybody hear us okay? You got volume out there. Felipe de Souza. My man. All right, guys. Good to have you here. We're just going to give a few minutes to let people log on. So we'll give it like another 2-3 minutes just so that everybody's online, and then we'll get started. Awesome. Good to know that you guys can hear us. Hopefully it sounds nice and clear. Excellent. It's echoing. Nice and clear.
Is there an echo? I can hear myself.
Long Island, that's what I like to see. I like seeing some brothers and sisters from outside of the Garden State. That's fantastic. Murphy. We got some news about Murphy for you guys. We're going to have some announcements. It's going to be a fun day. We're going to try to make this a regular thing, maybe once a week. We're all stuck in our houses anyway, but there's more happening now than there's been in the last year. So bear with us. We have some good stuff coming today. Yes, we have to pick up our phones because we're using it as a method of watching communications and answering your questions. So if we're playing on our phones, it's not because we're playing a game or distracted. We're actually looking at your feedback and answering questions while we're talking.
I'm playing Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, yeah, you like our legislators during gun hearings.
Right, yeah, exactly. You know, put that down. That's be a funny thing to talk about. So I guess we can't stream on Facebook natively. So yeah, just give everybody a heads up. We're dialing in some new software that we're using so that way we can stream everything natively to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. But we're going to do everything from YouTube. I'm going to be stepping out for 1 second. I'll be right back. Can you grab one?
Yeah, this is a legitimate audio video setup. We have a professional camera. There's a mixing board. All audio is being run through the board through legitimate mics. So this isn't just like, a cell phone broadcasting. So we're hoping that it sounds clear and it's not too staticky. 8:31, give it another minute or two, and then we'll get going. All right, he went to go get a smoothie. Look at this clown.
It's my dinner, man. It's my dinner. All right, guys. Everybody, thanks so much for joining. It has been an absolutely insane 2 months at NJ2AS. We don't even know where to begin. Obviously, there's been crazy news. The governor was shutting down. He shut down gun stores, gun ranges, classifying them as non-essential. We all know that. Most importantly, for the past 3-4 years, I've been attending press conferences. I've been doing news interviews with NJ2AS News to try to have a objective, unbiased platform where we can question politicians, activists, you name it, to get our side of the argument to come out. Because for years, for probably over 10 years, NJ2AS leaders, other secondary leaders were doing a lot of interviews where they would completely botch and have completely biased positions on Second Amendment issues. So we felt like it's something that we have to do because nobody else was doing it. So sure enough, Governor Murphy made some outlandish, ridiculous, insane comments. And like typical tyrants, typical dictators, he could not stand the backlash that he got when he told me, after I asked him about his ban on gun ranges and gun stores, that, he doesn't believe that more guns is a solution, and literally gave out his own opinion about something. And why that is so instrumental was that was immediately used by gun groups throughout New Jersey in our lawsuits against the governor, because he literally single-handedly just admitted that this wasn't about public safety. This was about his own personal feelings. And in the United States of America, we have something called the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, where your feelings don't matter when it comes to our rights. And now he is having to respond in court and say, well, I did this for these reasons, not for the reasons that I told NJ2AS News.
But we're not here for long pontifications about constitutional rhetoric.
Oh,
the first big announcement today, Alexander, we have new news to share with everybody.
I was lying. That's why I was lining it up.
Yeah, let's get to the point. We have no time for this. Let's go.
So literally just as around 6:30, our lawyer finally called us back. We got the complaint, the lawsuit, and all of the evidence and facts put together that tomorrow or Monday, we're going to be filing a federal lawsuit against Governor Murphy, his administration, against the state, and the New Jersey Press Association for infringing on not our Second Amendment rights, but our First Amendment rights.
Right, so we were the first ones to do the Second Amendment lawsuit. We're going to talk about the consequences of that because that's been dizzying for the last month. But now that's not enough. You know, we're being muzzled at the State House. Right as we caught wind, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we knew about the DHS directive, right? We caught wind of that before it happened. And if you notice, the last question that he asked on the day he got kicked out was about that. And the governor didn't answer, but showed his hand that he had implied, I thought I kicked you out, basically. Right? He said, like, oh, you guys don't belong here. Why are you here? Kind of showed his hand that he had intended to kick him out anyway. And subsequently that happened on the next time. So we're launching a lawsuit for that. We're going to share all the details with you. Should be out tomorrow, maybe Monday. But we wanted to use this platform to tell all of our supporters firsthand that this is coming down.
And that's really important because we, as not only an organization as NJ2AS, but also as a news organization as NJ2AS News, have the right to go out and ask these questions. You have the right. And clearly, nobody else is ever asking these questions. You go to these press conferences, it's a joke. It's a joke. These people are calling themselves reporters. Proof at hand. They're literally sitting there. Oh, Tom from Bergen County was asking about why he can't get his driver's license renewed.
But even better than that is like, okay, that's. Sometimes they ask, oh, we have somebody back in the newsroom that wants to ask this. Okay, yeah. But then they go, some guy on Twitter is asking. Oh, did you check the press passes for the guy on Twitter? Like, no, of course, only we get checked. So that's the big first announcement. Expect the details of that to be public in the next 24, 48 hours.
And we're not going to cower. We're not going to back down.
We are opening up more avenues of attack, right? So we started with 2A. Now we're going to have 1A. The best part is we have more 2A lawsuits coming.
Yeah.
There's more coming. They're just not done yet. And I just want to thank Alexander because this takes a tremendous amount of work. He has been working on this not for the last couple of days. We're working on this for the last month, the last 4 weeks. We've been strategizing, calling every night till midnight, talking about this. So thank you, Alexander, and the law firm that we're going to be working with, which, again, we'll release all those documents very soon. But as promised, we also have some contests. We're going to give away some stuff today. So we have 2 copies of Shooting Blanks by one of our very good friends, Alan Gottlieb at the Second Amendment Foundation. They're signed by him. And I figure the first way we'll give away the first copy is the highest donation that we get during the course of this live stream. So we're going to take all the donations, just take the highest number. If it's $5, it's yours. Whoever has the highest donation. Yeah. So we'll get your address, we'll reach out to you, we'll have your information, and we'll send you a free copy signed. And then the second one, we're going to ask a trivia question about our activism, the last one. There's been so many videos. We want to make sure you guys are paying attention to them. And we'll ask a question about something specific that happened and see who's paying attention. They'll get a free copy of the book as well. Sorry, where are we going from here? We're going to get to some of your questions in a moment. We're going to just go over some housekeeping items and then literally the rest of this broadcast. First of all, there's no time limit, right? We're not on here for an hour or a half hour or 4 hours. We're here while you guys are talking to us. So if it goes till midnight, it goes till midnight. It's up to you guys. So housekeeping, what do you want to get into?
And and it's really important because we literally get hundreds of emails every week from people about the sheer the sheer violations going on with your rights. But to put things in perspective, if we were talking about any other issue, right, they would be burning down. You see how the left acts. You see their behavior and their immaturity. They would be burning down cities if they were dealing with a fraction of the terror and the discrimination that you and I would be going through, right? So I apologize for not being able to get to every single one of you, But every day we're putting together a report, we're sending it over to the attorneys, we're aggregating all of the discrimination going on, all of the delays, all the police departments they're telling you and I, oh, we're closed, sorry, you guys are not essential, we're not doing gun permits anymore, blah, 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 blah. They go on and on and on, find every little avenue and every little opportunity to discriminate and undermine the Second Amendment. So just keep reaching out. We felt this would be the best opportunity to have all you guys reach out to us, read your questions live, because if you're asking those questions, then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people.
We're getting a ton of questions, so maybe we'll hold off on some of this stuff and just start getting into some of the questions. That's the real reason we're here, so I don't want to pontificate too long. I want to address the concerns, questions. I don't care if you're pro. I don't care if you're against us. Just say whatever you like, and we wear our hearts on our sleeves. Everything's out in the open here. So the first question that we had gotten was about the mag ban. Do you want to handle that?
Okay. I mean, it's amazing. We're putting our list together of organizing our content tonight, and literally, as we were doing this, the magazine ban, the lawsuit challenging New Jersey's 10-round magazine ban, it was sent back to the panel of judges, new panel of judges, where I believe this, Dan, 3 conservative judges were picked, which works tremendously in our favor.
We got an update about this like 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago, yeah.
We came on.
So there's going to be a rehearing on the actual mag ban. Now, before, there was 2 Democrat liberal judges appointed by Obama and 1 judge appointed by President Trump. So, of course, what do you think happened in that case? The individual that was, what was his name? I'm trying to blank his name. Somebody correct me here. But the conservative judge wrote a scathing opinion about why the case and magazine ban should be overturned. And, of course, the 2 liberal judges, what did they do? They literally wrote an opinion on all feelings. All they talked about was,
10-second shot clock. We got a lot of questions.
Yeah, all this and that.
Make it fast.
So the magazine ban is going to be reheard by predominantly conservative judges. However, they stated that they want to wait till the outcome of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association's lawsuit that is heard from the United States Supreme Court, and we're waiting on that ruling to come down. And why that's important, if the United States Supreme Court justices come down and say, in these cases dealing with Second Amendment rights, you need to apply strict scrutiny when reviewing these cases, it's going to be a massive slam dunk for us. Second thing, California, they just overturned their restrictions on on ammunition and out-of-state sales. Completely gone. Gone. Major big news for Second Amendment rights, not only in California, but that creates fantastic case law and precedent for cases that we're going to take up in New Jersey to be used against our own laws. That's why it's so good to have this good case law coming down. And surprise, surprise, it was a big shock that came down, especially from California. What's next on the list?
Someone's saying there's some buzzing in the background. I don't know. Some kind of noise. Let's check that out real quick. Getting a bunch of shout outs from different towns, Park Ridge. Hey, David Pies, I think I chatted with you on Twitter the other day. Good to see you, man. Length of time limits for receiving pistol permits. On paper, it's 30, but then there's other decisions in subsequent court hearings that they can take longer than that. So essentially, they can do whatever they want. It's up to you. So I mean, let me back up and preface here. Like, I'm a councilman in my town. I'm on the police commission, right? At the end of the day, if you're getting the runaround from your police department, it's on you to go up and stand up for yourself. So if you've waited, if you know the FARS check is done, your references are done, and all of that is done, kicked back to your police chief or to your detective, be polite and go and ask them. And if they're giving you the runaround or making excuses, just show up at your next council meeting. It infuriates me hearing, I see it on Reddit, I see it on Twitter, I see it on all of our platforms. They're like, I'm waiting for 60 days, I'm waiting for 90 days. Well, yes, they're going to abuse you. So it's up to you to stand up for yourself. So go to your town council, address them, ask who the police commissioner is, look at that person and say, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a resident of the town, I have a clean record, I've been waiting for X amount of months, weeks, years, whatever. What's going on? And usually the police chief will be there or someone from the police department is there, and they'll give you an answer. And trust me, they're not going to want that attention on them, so they'll probably pay attention to you at that point. That's the biggest thing that people don't. People have this irrational fear with police, like, oh, I don't want to say something to them. They're going to get upset or retaliate against me. Like, okay, well, if that's how you feel, then you're just going to live your life being subservient like a slave. You have to stand up for yourself. If you're asking politely through the proper channels and that doesn't work, it's your job to go to the next level, right? If you have a problem at your job and someone's harassing you, you go to your boss and you talk about them. It's the same thing. Go to the police's boss. And if they don't answer you, you go to the next step. But trust me, when you get to the mayor or the council and you bring it up, that usually is going to help you. And look, a lot of the things we're going to talk about, because by nature, what we do is deal with a very controversial subject. We deal with something where we're always getting told about the law being broken, negative stories, negative perceptions of government agencies, negative perceptions of police. They're not all like that, all right? And we have success stories we'll share with you where there's lots of towns that are pro-Second Amendment, complying with state laws and not adding extra obstacles and procedures that are unnecessary or deviate from state law. So look, be your best own advocate. If you're being your best advocate and that's not working, contact us. NJ2AS.org/complaints. We have made a specified contact form where you put exactly the information we need, and we'll follow up and try to help you. And he'll show up with a camera at your council meeting. Absolutely to help you.
There was well, just to backtrack one thing. Whenever you're going to your town or going to your police department to talk about these issues or you're being discriminated against, the most critical thing to do is document. Put your phone on airplane mode, put your cell phone in your hand, or hold it or put it in your pocket, whatever is most comfortable for you, and record these interactions. Because once you go to court, or once we take your case, when we go to court, they are going to deny everything. They're going to claim that you made it up, that that never happened, that your permit's been ready for the past 3 months, and they've just been waiting for you to come pick it up, or so forth. So the most critical thing is to document, record every single possible thing you can. It's not illegal in New Jersey. It's a single party state. As long as one person in the conversation knows it's being recorded, it's totally lawful. All right. And Dan's got a really good background in that on his experience and his prior work. But it means nothing if it wasn't recorded. And to tie into what Dan was talking about, you'll be surprised how every time, almost every single, if not every time, I've gone to a town council meeting and I spoke before the council, recording it and addressing their illegal violations, delays, and so forth. Jackson, New Jersey is a perfect example of that, right? For years, they were discriminating against us, making you get re-fingerprinted again. People were waiting 6, 8, 9 months, they were telling us, for their permits. We exposed it, we went and spoke to the council and the mayor, and suddenly they're getting permits within 2 weeks, right? That's a massive victory right there.
Yeah. All right, so let's...
But it's all because we shined light onto the discrimination that was going on.
I see a bunch of middle fingers just making me laugh on the chat. That's awesome. Got a bunch of people checking in from different towns. Franklin Township, South River. Oh, I got family in South River. What's up, man? Essex County, Woodbridge Township, Toms River. Used to live in Toms River. A lot of good people down there. West New York. Oh, Matthew, what's up, man? You and I spoke the other day. That's great to have you on the live stream today. You guys doing a fantastic job. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate it. Edison's another hotbed of controversy. That's a great town. Long Branch, Philippe, that's Edison. My boy that I was talking to earlier.
Yep.
What's up, man? Where are we with Cary lawsuit? You want to talk about that for a little bit?
So right now, I think there's like 2 or 3 Cary lawsuits going on. 2 of them are before the United States Supreme Court, waiting to be granted cert. And one of them is the Cheeseman case. Mark Cheeseman is suing his police chief in his town against the discrimination and New Jersey's Cary law because they would not give him a concealed carry permit. The other one is the Rogers case. So there's 2 cases already before the United States Supreme Court. Now, they are, it's kind of complicated, but they go before the Supreme Court 24/7. Yeah, and they read it, the judges review it, and they either grant it cert or they deny it cert. If it's denied cert, it gets thrown away. Whatever lawsuit and whatever the standing is for the lower court stands. But if they grant it cert, that means the United States Supreme Court says, yeah, we're going to hear this case, and then they take it up. Every single Second Amendment case before the Supreme Court right now is on hold. And we suspect it's because they're going to put down a very strong ruling against New York saying what you were doing was illegal, and every other case that comes into the federal courts have to apply strict scrutiny, which would be a massive slam dunk for us. So stay tuned for that. We'll give you guys more updates on concealed carry. It would be redundant, and it would be a waste of time and resources for us to file another concealed carry case against the state of New Jersey, because there's already 2 before the Supreme Court, and there's dozens other nationwide that would have a strong probability of going and being heard before the Supreme Court.
Yeah, don't forget federally. We have one justice that's in really bad health and of age, and if we have a re-election in the White House, there's potentially 1, if not 2 seats in the Supreme Court that'll be eligible for replacement. I would venture to say you're going to see a slew of cases come out at that point. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Multiple lawsuits. Yep, carry process we covered. Lawsuits to eliminate FIDs and PPPs. We're working on variations of that. Part of that's going to be driven by the 1A and the 2A lawsuits that we're working on right now. So trust me, that's not forgotten. I'm not a subscriber. Look, we are not a preservation group. We are a destruction group, right? The status quo, we don't want to preserve it. Our lawsuits right now are just to get us in front of obviously the ranges, the getting the stores open, which we did already. The 1A lawsuit is about getting us in front of the government to be able to speak to them, right? Because we can get in front of him and he doesn't answer us. That's good optics for us, and we can work with that. But those things are not forgotten, and trust me, we will be vigilant in trying to destroy that status quo. Yeah, Old Bridge, right around the corner from me.
But this is really important also, in regard to suing the state over the firearm cards and all these purchase permits and all that stuff. They have literally handed us, like on a silver platter, the platform and the structure to use for these cases. Because everything that we've always said in the past, hey, the police with a switch can turn it off or turn it on and so forth, and they can discriminate against the process, can now all be used in court for reason. Remember, every single lawsuit against voter ID laws have been overturned on the very basis that doesn't mean that they have to do it, but the fact that they can do those things.
Some funny chatter.
The fact that they could do those things, as in what they're doing to us right now, would be a form of discrimination. So stay tuned. All those cases are being developed. I mean, they're literally making our arguments easier for us, where they went before, we just want common sense gun safety, blah, blah, blah. Now they're just like, screw you. We're not going to issue you your permit. We're not going to give you this. We're not going to give you that. So next question, because you're laughing.
Just someone that knows me, Chris, saying his wife wants to know where my wedding ring is. I never wear a wedding ring, but whatever. No one cares where you live. It's Republic of New Jersey. All right.
I'm seeing on the screen a couple people commenting about life members being in the group. I want to thank all of you guys. If I could personally, I would do it. Most importantly, I think we're exceeding over 150 life members right now. So what we were discussing earlier in our strategy meetings was, what could we do for our life members that would be like a perk and a benefit? So that what do you think would be a good thing that we can provide to our life members? There's a lot of internal strategy that I'd love to talk and be public about.
I'd like to have meetings. I would like to have like a forum where if you're a life member, maybe we get together once a month, in a room with those people and kind of update them on what's going on. But look, I loathe secrecy. I don't like. This is why I'm an advocate of this. We're going to have a lot of stuff to discuss today just because it's the first one. But if we did this on a weekly basis, we could be as transparent as possible. Like I don't like hiding things. I like people knowing what we're working on, knowing what we're up to, and sort of indicating where we're heading with things. That's just my philosophy.
And that and that goes into, why are we here tonight? Why are you guys listening to us and conversing with us? And why are you most importantly supporting NJ2AS? Well, we started NJ2AS because of the frustrations coming from gun owners and civil rights advocates and constitutional rights advocates on the status quo, on the fact that for 40, 50, 60, 70 years, every single opportunity they had, they took our rights away. And we keep losing and losing and losing.
Put on the headphones. Some people are saying that it sounds like a shotgun mic is on and not our individual mics. You actually hear the individual mics on?
Here we just fine.
Okay. Mag ban.
But
let's keep going. We got a lot of stuff.
We talked about the mag ban.
Oh, we did that already? Okay, good.
Yeah, the mag ban, it got granted a fantastic rehearing. the judges that are going to be rehearing in the federal court, forget about New Jersey court, are all conservative judges, so that works tremendously in our favor. But they convened. They said, we're going to wait on the mag ban until the United States Supreme Court rules on the New York State case. And why that's important is because the New York State case could define the level of scrutiny, intermediate scrutiny, strict scrutiny, that has to be applied to Second Amendment cases. And once they define that, if we get strict scrutiny, that's a slam dunk for Second Amendment cases. So I hate having to say, like, let's wait until the courts rule, or put down these rulings. But unfortunately, we do have to wait on that. There are cases before the United States Supreme Court. There's also cases before federal district courts, like we're in the 3rd District in New Jersey. So it is in court. It's being challenged. It's something that we're fighting every single day.
All right, I actually want to touch on this. This is important from one of our recent videos. Someone asked about Supreme Court ruling in the past, police are not constitutionally obligated to protect us. I'm really glad that John brought that up, because that is sort of the underlying thesis of the last couple of videos we've done. And a lot of people are incorrectly focusing on these adjacent sort of concepts that have nothing to do with why we did the video. I want everybody to know, maybe the sarcasm or the subtlety is too under the radar. When we're calling the state, or when we're calling these lines, we're playing dumb. Okay, we are acting stupid to elicit a response from people. We know, of course, that these things are closed and take time. We know that the individual police officer answering the phone isn't responsible for our scenario. I hope people don't think we're that stupid that that's what we actually believe. Okay, like, clearly not. I'm trying to illustrate an overarching theme. And it's the theme that is drawing a lot of people. Like, I can't tell you how many people, just today I've talked to 3 people who told me, I'm a far left person and I've never owned a gun in my life, and I'm buying a gun and I'm joining NJ2AS, okay? And this is where I'm heading for this. The overarching themes of these contacts with the state police is not that they're jerks or we hate them. It has nothing to do with that, right? The power to administer and certify these permits is vested in them. And when we contact them, they can't handle it. They couldn't handle it before the pandemic, let alone during a pandemic. The overarching theme we're showing you is the government is not liable to protect you. Okay? District and Supreme Court cases have asserted that. They have no individual duty to offer you services or protection. Clear cut, hard stop, period, close the door. Okay? So given that, we need to have sovereignty over ourselves to protect ourselves. But in New Jersey, we don't have that. And whenever they feel like it, they can wantonly not administer permits, use the excuse of executive orders and pandemics. Oh, the barracks are closed. Oh, the chief is on vacation. Oh, you can only come here between 5 and 7 p.m. It's an overarching theme. We want people to understand that theme. This is bigger than just, oh, some gun lunatics are asking for guns because they want to have an arsenal at home. That's not the point. We're illustrating the point. The government not only can't protect you, they are legally absolved from protecting you. Like, you're stupid if you think like, oh, something happens, I'll just call 911. You can call every police department, the FBI, and they can either ignore you, show up at your driveway, sit there, let whatever massacre goes on in your house, and then come to pick up the bodies. And your estate, when you're dead, can't sue them. There's nothing you can do in terms of recourse. And we need to get that through our heads. So when we're calling the state police, we're not calling to harass them. Like, all these people like, oh, you're being a jerk to them. Like, no, we're illustrating you a point. They are physically incapable through this BS system that they've created. They cannot meet the demand. They cannot in a timely fashion honor people and give them their permits. So if they can't do that, they either should be legally liable for protecting us, which they're not, and we're not advocating for that either. We're just showing that hypocrisy. So I hope that subtlety is not lost on people, and it's very important to remember these distinctions. Half the time when we're showing you something, it doesn't mean that's what we believe. It's theater, right? It's kabuki theater. We're trying to show absurdity within the system through sarcasm, through hyperbole, so that you can see the underlying truth. We discovered information from these phone calls that no one else would find out. How else would you know that there are 10,000 backlogged applications right now? How else would you know that there's a 500% increase year over year in permits if we don't, make these contacts? This is how we learn, about how the government is handling these problems. So I just wanted everybody to know about that distinction. Ammunition shortage, blah, blah, blah. That's, free market. Lawsuits. People are just spamming the same questions, so I'm zipping through here. We can go on one of these things. You want to talk about content over the last month while I search for some more questions over this quarantine? Let's take, for example, if Governor Murphy had it his way, gun stores would still be closed today. But because of NJ2AS News reporting on what they were doing, because of our activism and the DHS kicking in and coming down and saying, you can't do that, the Department of Homeland Security, they had to reopen gun stores. We also won on that. They also tried getting slick and cute by closing down fingerprinting, right? And ironically, the same day, practically 18 hours after we exposed that story, recorded the fingerprinting companies telling us, oh, the state police said we shouldn't do fingerprinting, so we're not going to do it anymore. Right. They were unequivocally closed for about 2 to 3 days. And when we called them, they admitted, yes, we're open for everything else, but not that. They had an alert on their homepage, and they had a voice recording at the beginning of the call. And he actually had a funny banter with the woman saying oh, should I call my attorney or should I call the state or whatever? And she came back and confirmed, they told us not to be open. That obviously,
and it's important that we got the supervisor to tell us that, because if they didn't, they would just just shrug it off oh, that was some low-level secretary. They didn't know what they were talking about, blah, 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 and make up excuses. So that's why it's important that we got the supervisor to confirm that, because this wasn't going to be something that, the person was misinformed if we were to file a lawsuit against it. So it's really important to emphasize, with zero lawsuit, just by shining light to the issue, exposing the corruption, because they know they would never, ever have the opportunity to win that in court. We literally, in 18 hours, overturned the fingerprinting ban and then preventing us from being fingerprinted. Specifically, new-time gun owners. And what that really does is that deters people from wanting to follow up with the process. I know so many people that start the process and then suddenly, oh, I don't want them calling my boss. I'm not gonna proceed with getting my my gun permit. Oh, I don't want to go get fingerprinted. I have to take a day off of work, and it's going to cost me another $50, $60 or $80 to get fingerprinted. Therefore, I'm not going to do it again. So that's how they win. That's exactly how they win. To get people to get deterred from being able to apply or being able to buy a gun, and that's exactly part of their design. This isn't by accident. They do it specifically to prevent people like you from being able to exercise their constitutional right. What's the next question?
So Kevin asked a question. Oop, losing it here. Well, basically, I lost it, but the question was, how do you know if it's in the state's hands or if it's in the town's hands? Good question. During normal times when there isn't chaos going on.
Let me hold on. Let me just emphasize. In 2015, Dan and I led an undercover investigation where we went to the police departments and videotaped all of the discrimination going on, right? And as we released those videos, Governor Murphy signed an executive order.
No, that was Christie.
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm getting confused with our governors. Governor Christie signed an executive order, it was 180, EO 180, that told police departments that they had to cut it out. They set the uniformity across the process. People that are in fear of their lives, meaning people that have restraining orders and domestic violence abusers, have to get priority and so forth. And after that process, they assured us they're going to modernize the system so that everything is done online, and you would have an ability to make people, the police departments, accountable. And that's exactly why, subsequent to our undercover investigations, our activism, NJ2AS' activism, they revamped the system, and that is what gave birth to the New Jersey FARS system. So now you can do everything online, and it's critical because before they would just play games like, oh yeah, your fingerprinting's not done yet.
Oh, we haven't gotten a document back.
We haven't gotten a document back. Oh, your references never mailed in their paperwork. Oh, the state police haven't gotten back to us yet. So now every step of the game, you're getting an update. So as many of you probably already know, you give your references, they go online, they do the references, you get an email now. Immediately.
So because they used to pull this, oh yeah, we didn't get a letter back from your reference yet, or something didn't come back from the state yet. Now they're accountable for that. The system tells you immediately when someone fills out the reference check, the 2 reference checks. It also alerts you when the state concludes their background check. So in normal times, and that's the underlying theme that I'm glad you interrupted me, is that happened as a direct consequence of our activism.
Exactly.
And as a direct consequence of your support. So our organization, like, we're not a social club. Like, we're not guys that get together to talk about hunting or talk about, hey, I just cited in a new site or something like that. We are an offensive-minded activism group for changing the status quo of our terrible situation in New Jersey. So yes, thank you for all your support. You made that happen, and that's why we have the FAR system now, which is better. It's better than what we had before.
Exactly.
So to answer Edward's question, how do we know where it is? In normal times, the two references, assuming they respond right away, the state usually concluded their background in a couple of days, like 4 days, 5 days. And then it kicks immediately electronically over to the municipal police department. At that point, the only reason you have a delay is because your detective or your chief is not handling it. All right? And all they have to do is run their background, which is duplicative with whatever the state is doing. I've heard of stories where people get their permit within days of the state kicking it back. Because some chiefs just happen to maybe do it once a week or once a month, and then they do all of them, and you coincidentally get it quickly. But again, like I told the previous person who chatted the question earlier, if you're not getting a response, if you're reaching out and they're being like, call another day. Oh, the chief's not here. Oh, whatever. All right, go to the next step. Go to your town council meeting. The town council meeting always has to be publicly advertised by sunshine laws. It's usually in the paper. It's on the town website. There's no excuse. Go there, wait for the public session, and say, oh, I'm so-and-so. Who's the police commissioner here? That's me. Okay, I'd like to address a concern to you. Blah, 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 blah. Here's my problem. When can I expect to pick up my permit? And trust me, things tend to speed up when you direct it to the people in charge.
Make sure the microphone's up on here.
Go ahead. No, that's completely off. There's no sound feeding back from any piece of electronic.
We're getting a clean
so
signal here.
When we have a direct signal into our board, so it could be, I don't know what else could be causing some odd sound issues.
Yeah, I got a few text messages from people saying it's a sound.
Franklin Township, Franklin PD is saying New Jersey State Police is not processing their part of the background check. Ed Reeves. So to answer that, they are doing it. If you saw our latest video, they're admitting that there's 10,000 checks and they're woefully behind. I've had a bunch of people that applied for permits in March, like the middle of March, March 10th, March 14th, I think it was, and they just got an alert like this week that they were done. So now just the state background check, which is the check that has to finish before it even goes to the municipal police now, that is taking a month. That is why we're doing all of this, because of this nonsense. Because they've quarantined, they've eliminated all of the clerks at the state barracks, and obviously every municipal building is pretty much barren of employees right now. There's no clerks there, so the police are using that excuse. Oh, there's nobody there, so you got to wait. That's the entire premise of all of this activism that we're doing, and some of the subsequent lawsuits that are coming down the pike. So for the guy in Franklin, yes, there's little we can do from harassing the police. You can do what we do. We call them. And so just to put things in perspective, those phone calls that we showed you, when we say that the phone rang 110 times, the phone rang 110 times. All right. We have recordings. I had to chop probably a dozen calls where we were just getting like bounced around to people, and the phone would ring, and then go back to a secretary. And they'd be like, oh, well, I'll send you back. Send it back. Ring. That's how long the content we showed you was like 1% of it. So go ahead and light up the phone line if you want. It's kind of pointless, but they're not going to care. That's the problem. The underlying problem here is that the state has an undue amount of power in this scenario. And in our humble opinion, the state and the police have zero responsibility. They should have zero involvement in the administration of gun permits or FID cards. All of that can be done at the point of sale the way 40-something other states do. And you can go through the federal NICS, which goes through the FBI, and there's no issues. If you were to go to Delaware right now and buy a gun, you'd walk out the door in 10 minutes, and you'd go through the same background check that we go through.
And it's important. That's why it's really important for all of you to document this stuff. Because if you don't think for 1 second that all of this is going to be used in a lawsuit eventually against the state, like that, that right there is all the reason why you need to support this activism and this documentation and NJ2AS news because it's important we put that information out and disseminate it. Because we have to show the judges the level of discrimination going on. If this was anything else, they would be immediately overruling it as discriminatory and racist, the same way they do with voter ID laws. Even when voter ID laws were free, and other districts, they've ruled it's unconstitutional because of the undue process and burden it puts on low-income minorities, and there's a term called disparate impact that it has on low-income minorities. That, oh, well, they can't take trains and buses to go pick up the voter ID from whatever, Borough Hall or something of that nature. But that's really important why that we're doing what we're doing now in regard to documenting all these videos. You call the police, and I literally have recordings where just for 10 minutes I sat there, ring, ring, ring. Then finally I call like another line, and it's, yeah, that department's closed. They were considered non-essential. And most importantly, they have over 10,000 applications, yet they put one person in charge of the entire background check to sit there to process 10,000 applications. So let's say it takes 4 hours, right, to process a background check. You got to do this, you got to do that. So they do 2 a day. I mean, you would be waiting to infinity for you to get your background check done from just the state police. Then it goes back down to the local police, and I don't know what they do there. They claim they do, but that's exactly what this discrimination is about. It's exactly why it's important that all of you document it. Put your phone on airplane mode, go to the police department, or call them up with a separate phone, record it on your voice memo, and just document it.
This is how we can help you. We get 100 messages every day, and 90% of them are, I'm not getting my permit, I'm getting delayed, blah, 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 blah. We sympathize with you. We know the shitty situation we're all in, okay? We're all there with you. We suffer in it with you. The only way we can help you is if you document it. If you just tell me that it's happening, then it's just as effective you just going to your town council meeting and trying to resolve it. If you send us a video of them telling you to go away, now we can weaponize that, right? We can market that. We can turn that into a narrative. Until there's video, it didn't happen. And guerrilla video activism is the best way to foster change.
And something that, like, Dan, I want you to talk about, because it really changed my perception on this, because we get this a lot. People are like, oh, we're in New Jersey. Oh, the judges and the politicians are all stacked against us. It's true. I completely agree with you. But Dan, why don't you talk about your background and your experience and how you've literally had you maybe want to talk about the story. This individual, the former president, actually signed legislation to remove funding from. You want to talk the story from what? You remember the story about Obama having this?
Oh, Acorn?
With Acorn,
oh,
yeah.
Oh, you're getting like really meta right now. Like that's.
Well, I just don't know what you want to disclose and what you don't want to disclose.
No. So look, we both went to Rutgers and didn't know each other, right? We have a bunch of friends. Like Rutgers is this embryotic sack of political activism. There's so many people that are TV personalities, columnists. I have a bunch of friends who work in very high positions in government and at reputed companies or reputed law firms. Like everybody that is somehow involved in the liberty movement or in the political movement is from Rutgers. It's like a very odd thing. And so we both went to Rutgers. I participated with a bunch of people at an organization called the Centurion, which was like this video activism group that would record people and then, kind of fight for conservative leaning causes. But it was mostly about like embarrassing deans, embarrassing professors. That kind of grew into what Project Veritas ended up becoming, where I was their executive director for a couple of years and opened their office in their infancy stage. And he's referring to the Acorn when they got forced to be defunded by the federal government by Obama, who was the attorney for Acorn before he was president. So that's kind of what he's referring to. It's not like directly relevant to Second Amendment, but the point is, look, I say this in all of when I have events with Alexander and I talk, if we're going to start winning on guns in a wildly progressive environment that doesn't understand it, we have to stop talking about guns. And that's why the lawsuits that we're going to win are frankly not going to be the highly technical, constitutional rhetoric. It's going to be a viewpoint neutrality or discrimination lawsuit. It's going to be, hey, you're hurting disproportionately African Americans and Hispanics. They're the ones that can't get permits in Newark. while Mr. White Guy in Howell, New Jersey, who has a great chief of police who is out signing people's permits on the hood of his car during the quarantine, great guy. That disparity, that discrimination, that's what's going to spur change. Because the people in power and state, they don't understand guns. Like if you're going to try to have a conversation with them, their ears are turned off. You're speaking another language, they don't care. But if you go up to a camera with 10 people and you go, why are you, discriminating against black people in this community who can't get a firearm permit? It's true, they can't. I have people from inner cities coming up to us and telling us they're being required to have the home inspection, which we've had lots of departments that have done that. But those kind of ridiculous, illegal, extra obstacles, they tend to come from the urban areas. Who lives in those urban areas? That's the type of stuff that is going to be the wedge that we drive to really win on a lot of these issues. The hyper-technical stuff will probably come from externalized lawsuits, SCOTUS, and hopefully one of these Paris suits. But if we're going to win internally, you have to do guerrilla warfare, right? This isn't. You got to think of the Battle of Thermopylae, right? We have 5 soldiers. They have 5 million. If we go out into the open battlefield and try to compete in the battle of ideas, they're going to crush us, right? Because of demographics, because of numbers. However, if we wait till nightfall when it's dark and you can't see anything, and then we go out and give someone a black eye calling them racist, that's something that the left-leaning progressive media covers. That's something we can market. That's something we can use as a megaphone to bring attention externally into these issues. So that's my humble opinion. I love that kind of activism, and I think it's the most effective for New Jersey. What else do we got here? Ranges, yes, we talked about ranges. FID, we talked about. What else do we got? Oh, the NJ2AS store. We're going to have some people asked about merchandise. We're revamping the store. Got some new designs out there. So we'll have some new shirts, hats. We'll have stuff like that open for you guys very soon. What else do we got here?
Let me just check the sound quality because some people want to mention.
Sure. Let's see what else we got here. Tasers. Oh, they're illegal to possess. Alexander will talk about tasers. That's his baby. We're not going to do FID in people crossing because it's unconstitutional. Well, good luck with that. That's not going to happen. Thanks for block. Someone got blocked. Was that you? 2 carry lawsuits. Yep, you're right. Curious about what are the differences between NJ2AS and ANJRPC? They're just 2 different groups. NJ2AS is us. ANJRPC is the NRA's New Jersey branch. So it's just 2 different organizations. Just upgraded my membership to life member. Louis, thank you so much. Like I said, these successes, it's not him, it's not me, it's not anybody else, it's you. Thank you so much for your support. And if anybody ever wants to reach out to me, like I said, my Twitter is dfrancisco7. Feel free to tweet me, direct message me. I'm always open to talking to anybody about anything. So reach out to me with any questions you have. Let's see. It's Rock. I have a question. No, it doesn't sound good. All right. People are questioning about the sound. What happens if 90 days has passed and they didn't move on with your application? Do you just lose your $56? No, I mean
there's no limitation.
Yeah,
they could spend 9 months if they want.
Yeah, your money's there regardless. So yeah, they'll take their sweet ass time and they'll probably try to delay it, but you don't lose your money or anything like that. The mic is on. Tap the mic. We have a pop filter on there, so I don't know if you'll hear the tapping. Red flag case. Why is the Ace family so boring? I don't know what that means. Another red flag lawsuit. What about the First Amendment? Yeah, we talked about that. We're filing a lawsuit for the First Amendment. We'll put the docket out. Like I said, we just got the documents like literally 2 hours ago. So we're reviewing them. We're just finalizing corrections. We have all the evidence lined up. The governor's listed at the top. That will be filed either tomorrow, if not Monday. So you guys will see that all publicly very soon. That's where your money is going. Our money is going to offensive work where we're going to get results. All we care about, guys, is consequence. If we're not having consequence, if we're not moving the ball forward, we're wasting your money. So we're not wasting time with silly events and anything we do where we spend money like merchandise and stuff, that's all to make more money. So when you buy something, you're donating to the organization. I want to also stipulate that nobody gets a salary, right? No one is paid anything. We don't expense things for ourselves. We buy the equipment. I donated these microphones. I donated that soundboard. These are his personal computers. This is Alexander's personal camera. All of this stuff is stuff that is already ours, and for the most part, and we don't take any money from the organization. Every single dollar is going towards consequence to help our scenario in New Jersey. Have you considered a First Amendment lawsuit against freedom of assembly? Yeah, like we discussed, the ranges being open is, I mean, look, your freedom of assembly is being denied everywhere. It's not just ranges, but we absolutely are engaged and going to be doing a lot. We're probably going to have like 3 2-way lawsuits by the time this is all done. There's going to be many. What is that? What does that sound? Good? Alexander's playing with the sound, so if you guys think it's getting better or worse, let us know. Let's see. Red flag. CCW, yep, we covered that.
Well, I'm sorry.
How about a fundraising campaign? Kevin Tribago, how about a fundraising campaign? Tell me your ideas. Reach out to me on Twitter, DFrancisco7. Tell me what you think is a good idea. I'll listen. If it works, let's do it. If people want to help with it and get involved, let me know. We'll figure something out. Right now, like I said, all of our time goes towards how can we give someone else a metaphorical black eye? How can we claw back some of our rights? How can we advance some of our rights, like tasers and other things? Everything is offense all the time. So if you have an idea for a fundraiser, I'm all ears. Reach out to me. The mics aren't the source. I mean, we tested this out like a bunch of times before, and it was pretty clear. Did some button get pressed or something? Because we should be going through the mixer. The mics are not on.
Oh, they are definitely on.
That's very odd. Yeah, we had everything going through the mixer before. Does that sound like a shotgun mic? Sounds like a room mic.
I mean, there is an echo.
Yeah, there's a microphone on the camera, but we like tested this like 3 times right before we went on. I was like in another room listening to a test stream, and it was perfect. So I don't know what button we pushed, but we'll work on it. He's listening to what you listen to. It's not the acoustics, because this has a pop filter. All the sound goes independently through it. We record those videos that you see where when we're analyzing our activism is done through the same board. So that sound quality in the YouTube video should theoretically be the same thing that you're hearing now. And like I said, we tested it. For some reason now it may not be going through it. So
yeah, we tested this for 2 days.
I love Keith, man. It sounds fine. Let's talk about giving black eyes. Fantastic.
Yeah,
you get it. This is offense. This is all I care about. It's what I live and breathe all day long. You moderators, don't worry about the moderators. Like I said, we don't have a producer. We don't waste money on other people helping us. We'll just ignore it and keep going fine. Unless we're going to cover something from here. We talked about our past. Oh, let's give away the second book. Why don't we get that out of the way? So again, Alan Gottlieb, one of the heroes of the Second Amendment movement, great guy. He was with us on that lawsuit. It was SAF and NJ2AS, where we initially sued the governor, the attorney general, and the state police. We got a copy of Shooting Blanks, signed by Alan Gottlieb. Let's do a trivia question. So we said, this is what we're going to do. The first person that subscribed to us on Twitter, following us on Twitter, and to send me a DM at DFrancisco7, and you need to tell me 2 numbers. How many times did Alex attend the COVID-19 conferences, and how many times did he get kicked out? The first person to give me those 2 correct numbers on my DMs, I'll follow up with you after we're done with the live stream, and we'll ship you a free signed copy of Alan Gottlieb's book. So how many times did he get kicked out of the COVID-19 meetings? Only the COVID-19, not anything before. How many times was he there? How many times did he get kicked out? If you say it in the chat, I'm not going to look at it. You got to DM me on Twitter. And by the way, the first one I see there is wrong anyway. Life member, are you dealing with that? Shouldn't be great for a life member. John, ask us your question again, because the chat's really fast. So just send us again, and we'll answer you. Kevin, that's not the right answer, but try to send me another one on Twitter. I've been shooting blanks for years. You got to talk to your wife about that, buddy. Can't help you with that. Oh, someone's asking, hey, David. David, I think I know someone in your family. I sent you a DM. I'm not going to broadcast it on here, but check your DMs and see if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure I know someone related to you. That's a Black Rifle Coffee Company hat, which Alex didn't want to mention because he says they're not sponsoring us. So he didn't want to give me any free press. I love Black Rifle Coffee.
No, let me clarify. I'm working and speaking with them about getting an affiliate.
They're cool guys. I like them a lot. Their videos are funny. I have a bunch of their coffee. That's like the only coffee I drink in my house.
Yeah,
it's really good.
They gave us like 12 bags of coffee, a bunch of mugs, you know, like real cool guys out there. So definitely want to speak. We're trying to follow up with them, trying to get some type of professional affiliate relationship going on so that we can give you guys discount codes to the members and so forth.
Hell yeah. Their coffee is, that coffee will get your heart pumping, man. It's high-end caffeine. It tastes great. Someone is asking about, this chat thing keeps freezing. Is there any push for municipal or county sanctuary status? Look, at the end of the day, the legislative power of doing such things is nothing. So it all sounds great. It's all rah BS that feels good. But at the end of the day, good luck going to the Attorney General and telling them, oh, no, you can't arrest me for carrying a gun. I live in a sanctuary county. Good luck with that. It's not the law. Just like, we have all these sanctuaries for illegal immigrants, right? The difference is the Attorney General actually sympathizes with that and chooses not to prosecute them. I don't often talk about my personal life, but someone in my direct family has actually had their identity stolen for 15 years by an illegal immigrant with a criminal record, and it's not white-collar crime, it's multiple assault charges, okay? So trust me when I say I'm fully aware of the nonsense that goes on that front, but when they get found, nothing happens. So look, you need to have the backing of the people who ultimately prosecute the law. The Attorney General doesn't care. So he'll agree to skirt illegal immigration laws, and you can make all the sanctuary rules you want. If you carry a gun, you're going away for minimum mandatory time in state's prison.
We got a good problem to worry about here. So two of you guys just stepped up, became life members. So I don't know, what do you do in a situation where they're the two top donors? I think we'll send the book.
No, whoever was the top donor for the day, for the live stream, we're going to check our ledger, is getting a copy of the book.
Yeah, if they both became life members, then they're both top donors.
Maybe someone could donate $10,000 right after them. Who knows? I'm not.
Hey, we're getting new microphones.
I appreciate. Yeah, we'll get new microphones and make sure it sounds even better.
Or we'll hire a producer, because guys, I promise you, we've been testing this all night, several times yesterday. The sound was crystal clear. Dan was at his house. I was doing a test here.
And we tested it here, too.
I don't know why it's doing it now, but go figure. Jose Rodriguez, yes, stun guns are legal to carry. That's something I want to emphasize to everybody. Visit NJ2AS.org/taser. I have all the information there. We have the judge's consent order saying that you can carry a stun gun and taser for self-defense. Anybody else that tells you otherwise does not know what they're talking about. And case in point, the judge specifically said where you cannot carry a stun gun or taser: municipal, government buildings and school property. So why would they? Anybody that tells you, oh, you can't carry in public. So why would the judge specifically say that you cannot carry in these areas, but you can carry elsewhere? It's ridiculous. All the police officers that I've talked to, I carry one every day. I got one right there, and never had an issue with it. I've interacted with law enforcement, never had an issue with it. They laugh about it, whatever the case is. That's not to say that there might be some police officers or government agencies that are ignorant of the new law, thanks to our lawsuit, and might not know it. That's why it's important. You remember this one very important domain, NJ2AS.org/taser. Yep. And all the information is there. So if you ever do get harassed or challenged about that, they can go right to that link, and it has all the information. We post updates. It's even in the New Jersey State Police Manual. It's on their website, giving you guidelines. You have to be over 18. You cannot be a criminal. That's it. And you have full constitutional purchase and carry. No begging the government for permission. And that was something we fought vigorously for, and we got. And that's why it's so important, because Stephen Stambioli, Alan Beck were fantastic attorneys. And I can guarantee you, Because anybody else, we would have never had those two things of constitutional carry and constitutional purchase. But any issues you guys have with that, please get back to us. Are you going to add on to the New York and New Jersey challenges concealed carry? I don't know what you mean by add on to. Deadbolt 9019.
They're different jurisdictions. Two quick questions. Somebody asked about airsoft. Airsoft's not susceptible to the FID like a BB gun is. Someone on Twitter, Steven, actually asked about when using FARs, local PD still doing mental background checks and calling employers. Is this legal or required? The mental background check, yes, that is a mandatory. That is one of the two mandatory checks, parts of the check you have to go through. You can't get out of that. Calling employers, is this legal? So there is like a box that's there that you can volunteer it. I imagine if you don't put anything there, your application will probably get slowed. Here's the kicker though. That usually gets asked again at the local level, and people have to remember this distinction. The only documents you legally have to fill out and furnish to the state are the ones in the FARS check and your subsequent driver's license or a form of identification, a photo ID. That's it. If your detective or your chief come up to you afterwards and say, hey, I'd like to see a utility bill, a credit card statement. I want to come and shake your wife's hand in your bedroom. I want to see your kid's playroom, make sure it's fit for a firearm. If any of that other stuff happens, I need to know your last 5 years of employment history. It's all explicitly illegal by state law. And if that's happening, you should decline it. If you're scared about declining it, NJ2AS.org/complaints. Let us know about that malfeasance, and we'll help you reach out to the proper people to get that reversed.
All right, 2 questions here about what's the difference between the two, meaning stun guns and tasers. A taser is what shoots the projectiles out, and the stun gun is just a handheld device that has 2 electrical prongs. Now, in our lawsuit, it specifically says electronic devices, self-defense electronic devices. So there's no differentiation. They're both lawful to possess and carry, and there's no difference. It's up to personal preference what you want to carry. You can carry both if you like, but there is no difference. Somebody's saying in where was it? Wesley, you're correct. Howell Gun Works does sell them, and that's another perfect example because Howell Gun Works is owned by 2 police officers, one retired and one still active, and they both train individuals, the public. They both train the public on self-defense with a stun gun or taser. So you have 2 police officers here saying you can carry and possess a stun gun or taser. So anybody that tells you otherwise is, not being taken seriously. But this is it's a silly argument at this point. It's right there on the New Jersey State Police website. It specifically says, can I carry a taser? And they say, yes, you can. And then they cite our lawsuit. So I'm seeing some comments about some attorneys saying you cannot possess them and so forth. They're wrong. It's right there in the judge's directive. The judge specifically says...
Maybe you can tweet that out after the live
stream. We'll tweet that out. It's NJ2AS.org/taser. It's right there in the judge's directive. I don't know any individual. We all carry. I know hundreds of people that carry. They've never been arrested. Law enforcement doesn't... they're not supposed to harass you about it. If they do, give us a ring. Let us know.
I remember my chief. My chief's a cool guy.
I have your chief on video. There's tons of police officers.
When he won that lawsuit, I remember I had just moved to that town, and the chief was even like, my officers have them now, and they had gotten a directive from, I don't know if it was Attorney General's office or the state police. So the municipal police departments were being educated on the new law, and at least 2 or 3 years ago when this happened. So,
now, don't go electrocute your neighbor's cat. That would definitely be illegal.
Well, you can't use it on anyone lawfully unless
it's self-defense.
Yeah.
So
here's a great point, and we said this before, but I'm going to say it again. A shout out to the Howell Police in general for fingerprinting and processing apps outside. Great police chief over there was literally Chief Kudrick was literally doing applications on the hood of this car outside in the parking lot. I mean, if our rules suck, but that is, the kind of dedication to at least trying to honor your residents. It's the best that we've seen so far. Fantastic. And Englishtown, New Jersey, too. Fantastic friends of the Second Amendment. We'll have a video out about them. They're in full compliance with state laws. Chief is super two-way friendly. Chief Cook, great guy. We'll have some stuff out on him as well.
Yes, I just want to once again say thank you for the help, police department. This is a perfect example about what their intent is, right? There's a lot of great police departments out there doing fantastic work. Personal friends of mine, police chiefs, police officers that do the right thing. I'll end it there with that part. But, there's a lot out there that will blatantly tell you, I don't think you should have a gun. Go look at our Orange, New Jersey videos from 2015. The cop opens the door. Why do you want a gun? Starts badgering our undercover guy going in, wanting to get a gun permit. Badgering him. Well, why you want to get a gun? I'm not going to give you a permit and so forth. It's right there. If you want to protect that behavior, go right ahead. But don't tell us that the government of New Jersey is not conspiring to undermining our Second Amendment right. Because if this was anything else, your First Amendment, your right to vote, and so forth, you would be getting called all types of names and being shamed. But if you want to buy a gun in New Jersey, you're being treated like a second-class citizen.
Big Willie Style on Twitter wanted to ask if there's anything you can suggest we as NJ residents do to be more proactive in fighting for 2A. Thanks. One, supporting us, right, with financially. That's the number one thing, because that's what allows us to do the offensive-minded activism that we do, whether it's legal, whether it's guerrilla video activism, which is more potent than people give
journalism, writing articles.
Journalism is another angle. Like the stuff that we're going to be able to put in front of the governor that he is going to be forced to ignore because he's not going to want to answer it once this 1A lawsuit launches is going to be fantastic. So besides your membership and your financial support, is being vigilant about documentation. Like I said, when you go into your police department and they tell you, have your phone in a pocket. This shows up on the camera. Have your phone like this in your chest pocket and just have it recording video in airplane mode and document everything that gets sent to you. Oh, and then you will catch things you won't believe. Oh, come back at this time. Oh, the chief's away. Oh, we need you to notarize this form, and oh, you need to give us your work history. Once you have all of that, if you give me a video of that, it's a slam dunk. Like, we will show up at that council meeting. We will look at the borough attorney. We will look at the chief of police, which they're all sitting there, and we're going to go, here's the state statute you're violating, and then push play the voice of the detective or the clerk from their town breaking the law. It's clear cut. The thing is, people don't have the balls to do that, but we do, and that's why we win, is because we go straight to them and show them their hypocrisy. So that's how you're going to affect change. I appreciate your question. The answer is, one, become a member. Two, document everything. I totally get that not everyone has the personality to be aggressive. Well, unfortunately, that's the name of the game. So if you can bring us the evidence, we will be your mouthpiece. We will come out and try to help as best we can. So great question.
And people have to realize, I remember when we started doing this in 2010, and we would be going to our legislators, talking about this, writing and emailing campaigns, you name it. And they would, oh, that doesn't happen, oh, blah, 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 blah. And they would look at us like, oh, you're just a paranoid gun nut, blah, blah, blah. And we would be on the defense, and we would be treated like second-class citizens. And then what do? I went out, I bought a nice dress shirt that fit my phone perfectly in there. And this is all thanks to Daniel and his background and experience at Project Veritas. And we went out and started recording. And we recorded for 6 months.
We're taking that model and applying it to the Second Amendment. It's
and
very effective, and it's low budget.
But look what happened. After 10 days, of us having a major press conference, making national news, and documenting everything and exposing everything through our undercover journalism, in 10 days, Governor Christie signed an executive order telling police officers, you cannot do these things. Citing 80% of his executive order was citing our videos and the content we put out there. And then subsequent to that, Governor Christie, when he was running for president, was responding to people in New Hampshire, asking him about what's going on in New Jersey with your gun permits. I saw those videos. Do you remember that?
I hope you guys, I think we sometimes, look, a lot of people have come up to us this week, have become members and said, I've never heard of you guys, right? So there's a lot of new people entering the Second Amendment domain because of what's happening right now in our environment. I encourage you to go through our YouTube videos, and when you see the activism campaigns, especially the future victims, right? Future victims, that is the most, if you watch Future Victims 1, with the Orange PD, with that detective. It's like a half-hour long. I know you're all stuck at home. Please pop a bag of popcorn, pour your favorite beer, put it up on your TV on YouTube, and get ready for your blood pressure to rise.
Yeah.
It is damning. It is eye-opening. How that guy and that officer has been promoted, to my knowledge, since then. They literally admit that they don't give permits to black people, to women, to old people, to small, frail people. And the activist, Mark, who went in with the video, is handicapped. He went in with crutches. So the guy you're hearing interfacing with that detective is with crutches. And you can't see it because he's filming. And the detective, before adjudicates him in his face, before he even applies and gives his application and says, "I'd probably deny you because you're handicapped. You can't handle a gun safely." If this shit was going on with anything else, if it was a voting card or vote registration, welfare, any sort of progressive hot button issue, this would be like monumental national news, like coverage wall to wall from every bleeding heart organization in the world and every mainstream television outlet. But it's the Second Amendment behind the curtain of New Jersey, so nobody cares. So I want you to understand, we've done so much stuff in the past, and now we're getting to a point where we're growing and we have the resources that when we record one of these videos, we can sue them after, right? We can actually go after them and solicit the consequence that situation deserves. So please go through the old videos, watch future victims, watch Alexander, so that the Christie, when Christie was running for governor, running for president.
Yeah.
I was telling Alexander, this is the time to hit him. He's on a national stage. He's from a blue state. He's a complete moderate. He hates guns. I mean, he ran for state senator or state assemblyman on the platform of being for the assault weapons ban. There's an old ad of him running against Michael Patrick Carroll, great libertarian guy in North Jersey. Love that guy. He actually ran on the assault weapons platform, right? He was for the ban. So this guy is running for president. He's trying to win the primary. And I'm like, this is the time to hit him. This is where we take a guy who's in the center, running for a Republican ticket, and we can kind of push him and drive this wedge home in New Jersey. Look, you got to hit him with everything you got now before he's out of the race. And that's when Alexander did this great video. What's the name of the video where you go to all the police departments? Right during the debates. So Christie says...
It's all on the same thing.
Yeah, Christie says it's future victims also. It's like the last future victims video. Christie is on the national debate stage, and somebody asks him about the Second Amendment. And his bullshit response is, "Oh, I've been a huge proponent. I've actually increased concealed carry in New Jersey. I've worked to increase those privileges." Now, he technically did, but if this is ban and this is constitutional carry, he went from here to here. Excuse me. I mean, he just went for a technicality that really doesn't help anyone else get a permit, but he still lied about it. So he said, this is perfect. How do we show people that he's lying? Now, this is why I believe in guerrilla activism. I believe in video activism, because video speaks louder than words. If you go on Facebook and you go on Twitter and you go on email and you go on TV, everyone's like, "Oh, he's lying. He doesn't do this. He's lying. He's not really proponent of the Second Amendment, blah, 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 the Constitution." All of this nonsense, all this chirping happens, but nobody cares. So what did I tell Alexander? I'm like, don't do this. Get a camera. And if he says he increased concealed carry and now I can apply for my permit, I want you to go to a bunch of police departments and demand your concealed carry permit. And not because, again, this is where you guys have to understand our subtlety. We don't actually think we're going to get a permit. We're eliciting a response from the authority to tell us there is no change. He didn't do anything. And he went to 6 police departments. And some of the nicest cops he talked to there are like, "I don't know what he's talking about. We didn't change anything. The Attorney General didn't say anything to me." And every single chief or clerk responded in the same exact way. It was actually shocking how many pro-Second Amendment people. There's a woman at the counter in Paramus. She was really funny. She was hating on the governor and saying that she's pro-Second Amendment.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, she was like this blonde woman, cute woman. It was really funny. She was totally sympathizing with him and saying, "Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. They can say whatever they want." See how effective that is? We can all do this, but I can show you video of the police who are in charge of the permits calling our governor a liar. That is irrefutable. It's not up for conjecture. It's not up for debate. That's how we win, is by showing those kind of examples.
Hey, Tom, Tom, I think you're absolutely right. I don't know how you knew that I went to the thing, but I think it's picking up the desktop microphone and not these microphones.
It is?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I just put my finger over it, and Tom just commented that.
How is that happening? You must have switched the setting then while you were.
I don't know. And I don't want to stop it because I'm pretty sure if I stop the live stream, and I try to reset the sound settings.
Dude, we swear that we did this 3 times before we came out, and it sounded perfect, and it was going through the microphones because we saw the levels coming through on the computer. So I don't know why that's happening. I apologize if that's happening to you.
Is this sounding better, guys?
They do have power, by the way. It says I wish I could take the camera and point. We have a mixer, and you can see the levels bouncing around, and there's power flowing through to the computer. Push the mics away and test. Do I sound exactly the same as I did before? Audio is fine. Well, that's disappointing because it would have been nice and clear through the microphone. But if you guys are saying it's all the same, then we'll just leave it like this for now. All right. Hear you better when you're closer to the camera. Yeah, that's because there's a computer right over here.
It's picking up the computer microphone, and we went through this.
Why is it doing that? We didn't change any of the settings. That's annoying. I hear you, Anthony. It's either the physical camera or the computer. He must have pushed a button when he started the broadcast and switched something on the audio. Any other questions? Sounds like you're in your bathroom. So far, by the way, no one's correct about the video, about how many times Alexander went to the conferences, how many times he was kicked out. So you guys can keep trying. No one has gotten the right answer.
We could do a second live stream right now, and it would just require you guys to hop off this.
Don't do that. No, just finish this one. Next time I'll smack Alexander before he hits the button.
We went through it. We did this for 2 days, and I don't know why now it's picking up the microphone from the desktop. So.
It's just a shame because we have literally perfect sound through this system.
It was unbelievably crystal clear. It was beautiful. It was,
Someone said unplug the mics and plug them back in. Try that.
Okay.
But either way, it shouldn't. It's fine for what it is. All right, we're good with the sound. Just see if you have any other questions for us. Otherwise, we'll do other housekeeping stuff. I still don't have the correct answer on the book giveaway, so hopefully someone gets that before we end the broadcast. What else do we have to cover here? We did our accomplishments. Fingerprinting, blah blah blah. We did all that. The store, quarantine issues. So I actually talked to Alexander about whether we should kind of broaden the scope of the organizations. It's very preliminary, but during this quarantine, we've literally become a sort of WikiLeaks / whistleblower repository of people coming to us and either not wanting to identify themselves or telling us some of the most salacious stories you've ever heard about government. We're combing through all of those stories, and some of them are so astronomical that we have to do a lot of due diligence to make sure they're legitimate. So bear with us, but we are on top of doing all of this overt activism. We're also spending all of our free time doing research, working with lawyers, doing FOIA requests, Open Public Records Act requests. We're trying to get documentation to corroborate a lot of stories that we're getting. We had one guy who, I won't state who he is or where he's from. Awesome dude. I know he's paying attention right now as I saw his name, but I won't say his name. He sent me video of his police department showing up at his house to confirm that he lived there. So they were performing the illegal check of like, oh yeah, I have to go to your house to make sure you live there. All of that is stuff that we can use in the future if we hit issues. So we're going to have a lot of stuff outside of just lawsuits. I think this is going to become almost a journalistic endeavor to some extent. We already have NJ2AS News, which is the sort of umbrella that Alexander goes to the State House and asks questions of our government representatives. But I think we're going to become like a long-form investigation group as well, because there are so many people coming forward. So I just want to stipulate, if you have something you know about in government, in police, in the checking system with FIDs, anything related to our cause that you think is a story that can be exposed, we guarantee your anonymity. We will protect you as a source. We will not disclose anything without your permission. But if it's a story we think we can pursue, we'll go after it and see what we can do.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize, we've been getting tips on some incredible corruption going on in our government, and it's all thanks to you guys. So I don't know why I'm talking to the mic, but
yeah, I guess this really is no difference. The levels are bouncing up. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense that it would change sources for no reason.
But I can't say much, but I want
to comment on the rally.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize about the type of undercover investigation, investigative journalism that comes in with this stuff that can then be used against the state when it comes to filing a lawsuit. Because they look at you and I, they treat us like second-class citizens, and I'll leave it there. The tips that we've received, that we've been able to confirm, it will be massive news.
One or two in particular.
Like,
if they're true and we need to do our due diligence, that's going to take time.
We just have to do our further investigation.
I mean, I don't even want to oversell it. It's going to be mind-boggling with the characters that you're seeing us talk about. Someone's asking about doing a two-way rally. Look, that's not our thing. We're not subscribers to democracy and like lobbying and stuff. Like, I personally don't get involved with rallies or protests and things like that. That's not my thing. I don't really go to. I've gone to Trenton and testified. I don't really do that. We think that we are more effective and more valuable doing our form of activism and doing our lawsuits. That's how we contribute to offensive actions.
Yeah, there's a lot under these umbrellas that we have to work under, and the news aspect is a major aspect of it. We've covered some major news stories that have gotten millions of views, millions of shares. Case in point, the Murphy comments from a couple weeks ago. Fox News picked it up. Washington Post picked it up. They used our content. That would have never happened if the mainstream New Jersey media was passing their softball questions to the governor. It was only because of us that these instances occurred, and we were able to extract that information from the New Jersey government. So that's why we started NJ2AS News, 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm happy to what has grown today because we get about 2.5 million readers, viewers a year going to our news channel to look at what we have going on. But I really want to say so much more, but we can't.
Alfred Conti said, "What about the red?"
What's up, Alfred? I owe you a phone call. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's a douchebag. Sorry about that.
What about the language?
What about the red flag? We're all adults here. Look, we're getting our rights trampled on, like a little F-bomb.
YouTube will censor everything more.
You see the filth you see on YouTube every day. They're going to censor us because of what we're talking about, not the words we're saying. What about the red flag case and the class action lawsuit? The red flag stuff is what we're alluding to. Just sit tight. We will have stuff for you on that. That's the sort of exciting stuff. People are talking about open carrying a long gun. It's perfectly legal. Technically. Yeah, it's legal. I don't know who's saying it's illegal. It's legal. You can open carry a long gun. Would I advocate you doing it? Yeah, you'll probably get a police response. You may get shot and killed, but I'm not telling you to do it. But if you're questioning if it's legal, it's legal. Nobody shows up for rallies. People pay hundreds of dollars to rent a seat at a Giants game, but won't show up for free to defend their rights. Again, I'm not.
We actually had people messaging us. Tonight's the NFL draft. Why are you doing it?
I don't care. I hate football.
Yeah. All right. And I think that really kind of, and some of you guys are really cool about it. You're streaming both, I believe. But come on, our rights are being trampled on, and we're being heavily discriminated against. This is going to be like our civil rights moment in history. The way that we're fighting back.
Dude, the cultural, I have to say, it's the cultural Marxism of the bullshit going on in the NFL. I don't care if I love soccer, okay? I have a friend who's in the chat here, David, he'll tell you, I'm not watching the U.S. soccer game ever again because of the political bullshit that they're doing with the women's soccer team and the lawsuits. I don't know if you know this. They're like imploding right now, bankrupt. They're like firing all these people. I hope the same thing happens to the NFL. If you hate this country and you want to play like divisive victimhood games, I could give two shits about football. I hope it all goes to hell. If you want to watch the draft, go watch the draft. I don't care. I love soccer. I hope the U.S. team goes to hell too. I don't care about any of them. Nobody shows up for rallies.
Like James M, totally agree with you.
like I said, if that's your thing, God bless, go do it. It's not our thing. So we're not passing judgment on you. We just don't think that's the most effective thing to do. So that's not something we're involved in.
We'll have a rally. We'll celebrate.
James, I love that. Yeah, sports ball is worthless. 2A is precious. James is the man. I love that. He gets it.
Yeah, listen, we'll have a rally and we'll celebrate when I can carry a gun for self-defense. That's when we'll celebrate.
Felipe de Souza, my primo over there. Yeah, soccer is awesome, man. I play against your Long Branch boys. By the way, I'm a referee, and every time I ref Long Branch, I've suspended 2 matches because they get into fist fights all the time. Those bazookas are nuts over there.
All right, let's start recapping a little bit. Let's just reiterate. In the past 2 months, because of your support, because of NJ2AS, we had NICS reopened from our lawsuit and our journalism exposing the corruption going on in our state. They tried shutting down fingerprinting, and we had that reopened with 0 legal intervention. Why? Because we documented the corruption, the discrimination. It's all on our news channel. You can see it, the audio recordings and so forth. And then all of you followed our advice, contacted the state police, and told them how you really feel about this. And 18 hours later, they reopened fingerprinting, right? That's a massive victory. Let's celebrate those victories.
Another question. Since everything is online now, Will Perez, since everything is online, what exactly do we attempt to show up in person and record? It's all the stuff we discussed before. You're going to get obstacles put in front of you. Come back another time. Oh, you didn't notarize this form. Oh, you have to fill out this extra sheet. Oh, we can't give you an update on your permit. Document all. They're going to say things I can't even predict, right? You won't remember it, and you won't have proof of it if you don't record it. You have to record it.
Exactly.
So record it, and then bring it to us. Then contact us, nj2as.org/complaints, or you could reach out to either one of us on Twitter, and we'll follow up with you.
Yeah, but the critical thing is document.
If you don't document, I can't help you. It's not that I don't want to help you. If you don't document it, the only thing you can do is go to your council meeting and ask for the commissioner and ask for the lawyer, right? Ask for the borough attorney. Other than that, if you don't have documentation, we can't prove they're breaking the law, right? So I don't want to use the word threat, but you've got to dangle in front of them, hey, here's evidence of you breaking the law. If you don't have that, there's no call to action for them. They need an impetus. It's all behavior. It's stimuli, right? You need to give them a reason to act on your behalf. Do they invite us to their meetings, Andrew RBC? We're different groups. We have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, and listen, every group does what they do really well. We just have a different strategy and a different mentality.
We're the redheaded stepchild. We're a little bit more aggressive.
And
I'm bringing that culture of consequence. I want fight. I want metaphorical black eyes. I want victories. I don't want to talk about things. I want to tell you results. I want to tell you after we've won. Look, for the guys watching the NFL draft, I need to gain yards. If I'm not getting positive yardage on our plays, on our lawsuits, on our activism, we're wasting our time. And more importantly, I'm wasting your money. And I'll never look myself in the mirror with a straight face if that's ever happening. So we're never doing stuff just to do this. I don't want to just hold meetings, where I make people drive just to tell you, hey guys, how's it going? Oh, what's up, man? Oh, we're all fantastic. Let's pat ourselves on the back. No, we're in a shitstorm right now. We're literally in the lowest rung of hell when it comes to Second Amendment rights. So either we're climbing up and getting victories, or we're wasting your money. So that's why, there's a lot of different groups. They all have different philosophies, different tactics, not passing judgment on any of them. If you want to learn about other groups, I encourage you to go to their websites and see what they're doing and join them if that's what you want. If you like what we do and you like our attitude, then I solicit your support as well.
Gun review. We talked about the magazine capacity a little earlier. There's a lawsuit against it in New Jersey. It's getting reheard. The new panel of judges. It's hold on. I gotta make sure this isn't.
So someone's saying, if my town is saying they are waiting on a response from a previous town I lived in, should I contact the other town or no? I mean, just go through the
pressure on them.
Go through the same channels, right? I don't care they're not answering you. Again, there's no duty for you to list whatever you did in that town. All of your duties are in the farce check. That's it. So as far as you're concerned, show up, go talk to your police chief. If he doesn't answer you, go to the town meeting, go to the council meeting, ask for the borough attorney, ask for the police commissioner, and give them your grievances. Say, hey, I've been waiting. I'm a taxpayer. I pay property taxes here. I have a clean record. I'm telling you, I have no crimes in my past. what's going on with my permit? I'm waiting, right? And that at least tells the chief and the detective I'm getting tattled on to my bosses, right? Now that adds another layer. Then those people are above the police department, at least from a hierarchical standpoint. So put pressure on them. And again, there's a lot of great towns that don't do this. Like my town is great. My chief is accessible. He'll talk to anybody. Howell, great, open. There's lots of towns where they will talk to you. And look, the more times you interact with them, you may learn they're good guys. Like maybe they want to help you. Maybe there's something you don't know about. Talk to them. Like be open. Don't be scared. Like if you're scared of retaliation or losing something, then I don't know what to tell you. Then enjoy the misery and wait. But if you want something done, step up for yourself and do it.
And that's a major aspect and point. Yeah, you beautifully just and eloquently mentioned. We have to talk. We're sick and tired of being treated like second-class citizens. You cannot even talk about firearms today without getting like looks on your face, like at your face. I wear this hat around proudly, and people look at me like I'm some just deranged psychopath because I want to express my First Amendment right, because of my AR-15 on my hat, along with the American flag. So we have to stop with that mentality. It's sad that I have to tell my nephews, hey, don't talk about guns in school with Uncle Alex, take me to the gun range. And they constantly say, but I want to tell my friends about how much fun I had. And it's like, it's just not worth the battle. But, by doing that, we're losing, and that's why it's so important that we just are vocal about our views. And I think that's shifting. I know for a fact that's shifting. People are finally starting to realize that, hey, we're being treated like third-class citizens. And why are we being ashamed of our principles and our values as Americans? And it's crazy to think about the communist Cuba that my family fled is now coming to New Jersey to be treated the same exact way.
So someone mentioned that the sound was fixed. I don't know. I give up on this. I can't tell if it's coming through there or not. Someone mentioned, ever heard reports from Ridgewood? My wife's from there, man. Her parents still live there. Tell me what you know, Porter. DFrancisco7 on Twitter. Reach out to me. Let's talk. Get to know your chief, David Pies. Yes, like they're humans, man. Like so a lot of them are pro Second Amendment. Go talk to them. You don't have to be a dick. Just like, hey, what's up, man? I'm just tell them. I'll be honest with you. I'm a big Second Amendment guy. I'm likely going to be applying for permits, every once in a while. I just wanted to get to know you, make sure that have a good relationship, and what can I do to make sure my process is expedient as possible. People are human, man. Make relations with people. That's why I broadcasted this. Is if people want to come and troll the chat, I don't care. If you want to tell me I'm an asshole or I'm wrong, I'll debate you. Like, reach out to me. I'll talk to you here. I'll talk to you online. We're open. Our hearts are on our sleeves. So there's nothing to hide here.
Were you scared when the police kicked you out of the press conference? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He did say, what did you say? Where's the other guy? He's like, oh, there he is. And like he was popped around the corner, like the guy was hiding around the corner.
Yeah.
Look, you guys have to appreciate the irony, okay? This state bans you or forbids you from protecting yourself with firearms. So we go to the state house with the correct press passes that everyone else has and try to use our First Amendment rights to solicit, the protection of our Second Amendment rights. Then he douses our First Amendment rights and uses a monopoly of firearms, right? Only the state has guns in the hands of the state police and can use them to force you then out of the hearing, or excuse me, out of the press conference, and therefore silence you. If you guys don't appreciate that delicious irony, like I don't know what else we can do to prove the point to antis. This is why so many non-gun people are signing up to be members, are putting in their permits. That's why there's 10,000 applications sitting at the state police right now.
And also realize by doing that, not only do we expose his hatred towards the Second Amendment, we also expose his hatred towards the First Amendment. And it only proves how all three levels of government in New Jersey and the media have conspired against our rights, because they just showed they don't want us showing up to ask the questions that the other people should be asking, right? And what Governor Murphy's done, he's once again created a system where he gets to pick and choose what reporters and journalists get to come into the press conferences to ask the questions that he wants to be asked. Watch his body language when I'm asking him questions compared to how this other so-called journalists and reporters are. You know, they're asking stupid softball questions like, "Oh, what are you going to do about the parks?" or "What are you going to do about people's driver's license?" Lauren from Twitter is saying that her license was suspended.
All of these privileges that aren't rights. We need to address that. Okay, what about a fundamental natural right from a creator? How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
So police are just following orders. I can't remember where I've heard that in history. Yeah, they can use that line. It's up to you if you want to let them get by with that. Like I said, if they say, "Oh yeah, there's nothing I can do. I'm just doing what the state's telling me," go record them. Record them. And then go to your council meeting and complain to your local officials.
Silverwing, he this is a perfect point because he lives in his bubble, right? And this is the problem with statists and dictators. They're so obsessed with thinking that they're right, that they are morally superior to you and I. So the fact that the nation responded with that video that came out when I was questioning the governor, and it had millions of views on other Second Amendment groups, web pages, and other social media before we even had a chance to put it out. And that's why he kicked us out. If you watch the video, he kicked us out because we sued him and we won. And he kicked us out because he cannot stand you and I having a voice and not agreeing with his mentality, not agreeing with his draconian, tyrannical dictator mentality that he's morally superior to us and you and I are wrong and we're dumb people. But the fact that millions of people responded to him, it goes to show that he hates the Second Amendment just as much as he hates the First Amendment.
How can we make it so that politicians and governors who violate the Constitution?
That's a very good question.
Charges?
Because we've sued the state of New Jersey 3 times. We've sued, I think, almost 30 towns and won every single time. And guess what? They don't care. Why? Because they pay us with taxpayer money, with our money. So we're taking NJ2AS money, fighting lawsuits, and then getting reimbursed for our legal fees from the state, which just takes your money, taxpayer money, to pay for their unconstitutional laws and their violations. If there was a law that said every governor or assembly person or public official had to pay their own money, I guarantee you they would not be filing these laws. They would not be doing the things that they're doing. But because they have this public trust fund that they go, or slush fund, I'm sorry, and they do these things, that's a very valid point.
All right. So far, still nobody's correct. You can keep DMing me if you want with the guess on how many times he was kicked out, how many times did he speak at the press conferences. Loretta Weinberg, yep. Loretta Weinberg is trash. We've spoken to her many times. Again, look, I give this analogy all the time about the moths. I'm not going to say the analogy again. You guys have probably heard me say it a million times. Loretta Weinberg doesn't know what you're talking about, right? She doesn't understand nuance. She's just there existing, doing what she thinks is right. The way you beat Loretta Weinberg is not in an intellectual debate. She's too stupid for that. She'll shout platitudes and then not listen to you and not take you seriously. The way you beat Loretta Weinberg is by having 20 Black or Hispanic or transgender or Purple Martian or whatever victim group you can think of show up with cameras and say, you are systematically denying the rights of X victim group, and have them all with cameras say, why do you hate us? Why do you wish us to die in our urban neighborhoods? That's how you get change. It's not with all of this petty debating her. It doesn't do anything.
Well, most importantly,
she's not changing her votes, right? We all have talked to her. When has she ever voted for a pro-gun? She's not going to. So stop it. They're the enemy. Just embarrass them. We can't beat them with democracy. The demographics are against us. She's from Teaneck. If you go up there, they're all Democrats. Like, you're never going to win on the Democratic front. And if you believe that, God bless you. Go do that. It's not correct in my eyes. That's not how I would fight her. I would eviscerate her with monumentally embarrassing content, activism. I'm not wishing any violence or anything like that. I'm just saying, show that their policies are racist and discriminatory against X victim group. And now she has to respond to the discrimination. She may not respond to the gun talk because she can't, but she can't ignore you if you call her a racist. That's the wedge you drive with them.
Yeah, basically, you have to talk a language that they're going to understand.
Yeah. So,
and the fact of the matter is that let's say Trump is a perfect example. They would never win on facts and logic. So that's why they have to paint Trump, and whatever your position is, I'm not making an endorsement of any nature or support of any nature on President Trump. But the reason why they attack him the way they do is that they would never win on the logical, factual argument, which is I would not have my front door wide open and let strangers come in and out without being properly vetted. So why would we do that with our nation? I would not waste money the way that the government does, with my own personal money. So why is it any different? So the fact that he's winning on trade, he's winning on security, and he's winning at the border, and he's winning on the taxes or whatever else, whatever other
Let's
policies.
not get into intellectual stuff.
Yeah.
Focused.
So what do? They paint him as a racist. They paint him as a homophobe. They claim he hates immigrants and blah 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 blah.
Right. It's Alinsky tactics, right? You don't address the issue. You drive a wedge through other ancillary issues that people care more about in this day and age. Racism, discrimination. Those are the things you hear about on college campuses and in the news. That's what drives you to victory. Rev Biker, where we go one, we go all. Someone's on the QAnon boards, I can see. Loretta Weinberg, I'm done talking about her ass. 15 rounds. Yeah. Oh, David saying, what's the best way to document? Great question. If you're going to the police departments, right? There are sophisticated like buttonhole cameras and stuff, but you don't need that. If there's one thing that everybody in this day and age has, it's a smartphone, right? So all you do is put your phone in airplane mode, which is somewhere in the menu on the top. If you have an iPhone, you swipe down from the top right. I don't know about Androids, but you can easily find it on Google. Put it in airplane mode. Wear a shirt with like a flannel shirt that has like a chest pocket. I'll stand up a little bit.
Yeah.
And put your phone in the pocket. And so it kind of looks like this, right? And so when you walk around, it's naturally facing wherever you're facing. It's capturing video. And moreover, phones have phenomenal microphones. Like they're actually really good for recording. I guarantee you it'll pick up everything in the conversation. It's natural. It's normal. I mean, if you tried to walk in with a camera and like, if you were like this, like trying to hold your phone or holding like a camera in your bag, it's kind of odd looking. No one suspects anything of a phone because everyone has one. So you just put it on your shirt like this, airplane mode, nobody can interrupt the recording, put the video on, walk in, ask your questions, capture the content. And the thing that I yell at him all the time when he goes to press conferences and he hates me for it is shut the hell up. Ask the question and then shut the hell up and don't say anything. I've said this before. People by nature abhor silence. They get uncomfortable with silence. So they start prattling. They're like, oh, I'm waiting for my permit. Oh, my cousin did this. Just ask for what you want. Ask for the sale, right, in business terms, and then shut your mouth. You're there to capture them talking and just capture. And then bring it to us and we'll see what we can do to help you.
Somebody was asking, how do you join or donate? NJ2AS.org. There's a join or donate tab. And just become a member, or you can donate. You can become a monthly donor as well. Click on the one-time donation or monthly donation tab, and just help us out. It's all there. We are an open book. You see the results that we get. You see the activism that we can conduct, and we don't hide behind secret meetings and we did this, we did that. We tell you every single little thing that we do, and
that's why this is going to become a regular thing.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do this on a recurring basis so we can keep you updated. Keith P. Read Rules for Radicals. Rules for Radicals is the Bible that Project Veritas was based on. That's that philosophy. It's ideologically neutral too, right? He was a crazy, whacked out, socialist and crazy, crazy guy, right? Evil guy and satanic guy. But the tactics are ideologically neutral. They work in any. What are you doing?
There's somebody posting.
Only my wife touches me there. Get away from me.
I'm trying to
his tactics work everywhere. Oh, Greg Morrison spamming the chat. Keep doing it, buddy. I don't give a shit. That's fine. I'm not going to get Alfred. I'm not going to get involved in talking about other groups. I'll talk to you privately about that if you want offline. The problem with email is that officials are far more careful in their email answers. Yeah, if somebody was asking about email, good luck. They're not going to viscous to crimes on email. They're going to confess to things when they don't know they're being recorded. So that's when you have to reach out to them. The most effective, the most visceral medium in which to transmit an idea or evidence of something is video. Because you capture the image, you capture the voice and the audio. You can't argue your way out of it. Oh, I didn't really say that, right? Hearsay, they can always say you're lying. In an email, someone else could have written it. If it's on video, it's impossible for them to say it was someone else.
Yeah, it's a very critical point. If they know they're being documented, they're not going to say those things. That's why, I mean, perfect template for all of this. Just go back, refuse to be a victim. NJ2AS refuse to be a victim. It's all on our YouTube channel. Go back. You'll see how our undercover investigations were coordinated. Also, Daniel, what I'm going to mention, if you're recording like this, just do a test thing. Put your phone in airplane mode, and then just put your phone right here, and then record for a little bit, talk to your whatever, and then go back and watch the video. If the camera's angled slightly this way, you don't want to be recording that way. You want to be recording straight, so you kind of stand a little bit sideways while you're talking to the
Don't worry if people are out of the sight picture or whatever it happens, as long as they capture.
Yeah, as long as you capture the audio or video of some sort, that's really the most critical thing. And then contact us. We have no problem helping out on these issues.
Ted and Bud says you have to let the police know that you're recording them.
No.
In New Jersey, no. It's a one-party consent state. In New Jersey, that's it. You have to look up other state laws. Will a voice recorder do when you can't get a good camera angle? I want video and audio. A voice record, the guy can say it wasn't me. What are you going to do? Hire a forensic audiologist to go to court and prove that? No, just video record everything. It's the most visceral medium. I've been held up in my town. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Outer Limits, we're here for you. We've covered everything here. Let me just make sure there's nothing on Twitter. And maybe we'll wrap up just because it seems we're just getting like random banter and not substantive questions. Just make sure there's nothing on Twitter.
Also, NJ2AS store is coming out soon.
Yeah,
A lot of you guys have been asking about hats, about shirts, and so forth. So we're putting together the web store. You guys will be able to order all the swag. Also, when you become a dues-paying member, you get a membership card. Want to emphasize that. Become a proud card-carrying member. We're working on our affiliate program so that you can take that card, take it to certain gun stores. Whoever partners up with us, you can get a discount. But when you become a dues-paying member, it's for 1 year. General member is $35. Premium member is $99, and a life member is $500. When you become a member, you get the card, and you also get a nice fancy bumper sticker, which I put on all my cars. So yeah, those are the perks and benefits. If you become a life member, you get a cool hat. Not this one, but you'll get an NJ2AS hat as well.
Marcus Max is asking about manufacturers boycotting. They're not really boycotting because they still sell to the government, and that's their #1 customer. We haven't covered concealed carry. We did. You can watch this live stream again when we post it. Black T-shirts, that's all I wear. So we'll definitely have a black T-shirt, Rev Biker. Signing up now. Thanks again. Appreciate the positivity, guys. We're here for you.
Yeah.
Can you give me some insight? Chris Vandeling, just ask your question again. I don't see it. Philippe, thanks, man. I'll be following up with you online.
And also make sure you sign up to all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook. Make sure you like our page, like our YouTube channel as well. Make sure you click the bell to get all the notifications because we are going to start putting more content on a hopefully daily basis on things that we're up to. There's going to be a plethora.
This guy mispronounces everything. What a dirty immigrant you are.
Wow.
So I am one too. I'm a victim class. I'm allowed to say it. I remember when they were complaining about putting Hispanics in cages. Remember the Trump thing with like, oh, they're putting people in cages, the illegal immigrants, and then like that was happening with. We were like saying, let's have a bunch of Hispanics go to Loretta Weinberg and film her and get arrested, and then we can go, oh, they're putting Hispanics in cages. The Democrats putting Hispanics in cages. See if they cared then, but we that's the kind of optics that I think are more effective.
Yeah. Let's wrap up.
The giveaway. Maybe ask another question because everybody's getting it wrong. Let me think of another simple question. Tell me the name of the detective in the future victims video in orange. The first person to DM me that or the first question gets the last book.
Post it right now.
And you got to DM it to me on Twitter. Not tweet it, not email, not put it in the chat. DM it to me.
Well, don't they have to be following you, or don't you have to follow them to DM?
I have open DMs.
Okay.
But yeah, follow me too. Either way. Knives. I can't speak to knives. I don't know anything about knives.
What is that question?
They're asking about the legality of Leathermans and stuff like that. XXXL shirts. We'll have that for you, bud.
Is the beard part of the NJ2AS uniform? Only during the winter.
Yeah, I have what's called I have a fat baby face, so the beard is just a crutch to hide my fat. That's why I have it. Put print on back of shirts. Why is that? Why? What? I've had people say that before. What is the reason for that, Biker? I'm curious. Thanks, Panic BTN. We're here for you, man. We're gonna keep doing this. This is a lot of fun for us. We love talking with you guys.
Yeah.
What's with the print on the back of the shirts? I'm curious about that.
I don't know what that even means.
He's saying he wants it printed on the back.
NJ2AS?
Chris wants to know what to do. He's getting held up with the FID. Maybe the middle finger on the back. All right, it looks better. Chris, David Maxim is repeating a question from Chris. Oh, for bikers. Okay, cool, man. I get that. That's pretty cool. We'll do. I also want to get a more. I argue with Alexander. I think we need a more succinct logo that's not the letters and that's a little more modern and aggressive looking to kind of mirror our personality and our vibe. So we'll see if we can do something with that. In terms of the FIDs, I've been held up by my town. Yeah, so the question from David on behalf of Chris, like we said, go to your town, record them. Ask them for what's going on with the application. Go to the clerk at the police department. If they give you the runaround, then you go to the chief, email or call the chief. Call the chief, ask to speak to him. They're a detective. If they give you the runaround, go to your town council meeting. During the public session, there's usually like a work period where they talk about like active subjects in the town, the laws they're working on or resolutions. And then there's like a public session where you can talk about anything. Go to the public session and say who you are, ask for the borough attorney, ask for the police commissioner, and then address them. How do you do that in a lockdown? Great question. I'm on a council in my town. They still have to have council meetings. We just did one yesterday online. So it'll be like a video chat or a phone call, and you can still address them. How does one volunteer at NJ2AS? Reach out to our email on our website and give us an idea of how you think you'd like to help.
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a contact page on our website. Send us a quick note, talk about what you'd like to do. And it'd be great to have somebody here helping out with sound and audio. It'd be great to get somebody to have camera and video experience so that they can help us out with our news department, going around doing interviews. There's tons of stuff that people can help with. If you have a local range, you can be an ambassador for NJ2AS. Make sure that you bring out brochures there, hand them out, and so forth. Help get the word out.
I want to see Rev Biker's beard that covers his shirt. He sounds like he has an epic beard. Armed protests. I just told you how I feel about protests. You should know how I feel about armed protests. It's a good way to get killed. That's about it. You're not going to get the laws changed. All right, maybe we'll wrap up. I don't see a lot more questions.
Yeah,
and look, hey, if you guys want to joke around and banter, hey, reach out to me on Twitter. I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning just yapping with people. Look, we're social people. We love people. We love interacting. We like like-minded people. We like people that don't agree with us. I love debating people I don't agree with in a friendly manner. I was doing that before I came here, all right? So we're here for you guys. We're here for offensive action. We're here to win. We're here to push the ball forward. And even if you just want to BS with me and ask me questions or just talk about other things, I love soccer. You want to talk about soccer? Reach out to me. That's my sport. I'm not going to cheer for the U.S. national team at this moment with all the nonsense going on, but I'll talk about whatever you want. But, are there worthwhile classes to take? Yeah, reach out to your local range. Most of them have have classes. My range is Union Hill Gun Club. Legends Firearms is the FFL. Ira runs
Rock
that.
Training.
Rocco owns Rock Training.
Yeah, Rock Training.
Great guys. That's where I go. That's where I'm a member. If anybody wants to go shooting, meet me there when we open back up, after we get them open back up. Kevin, thanks for the great, kind words. You're the man. Appreciate it. All right. I don't know. Maybe this is it.
Let's sign off,
I'm
guys.
really pissed about the sound, by the way. Sorry about that, guys. We literally tested this yesterday. I came here and tested it with him yesterday. We did it 3 times before we came on the air, where we opened separate private streams, and the sound was phenomenal. It sounded like we were in a studio, and it was going through the mics because we even walked across the room and it wouldn't pick up. So we'll get the sound better for next time.
And we'll do this again and next week. Posting updates and discussing what we're going to be up to, any offensive moves. I cannot wait to talk about our First Amendment lawsuit against the governor.
I'm so excited.
It's like
So excited for that, and
it's
all
like-
the other whistleblowers coming forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The whistleblowers, guys. I mean, if 10% of the things pan out that we could document and properly discuss and expose, I mean, it's going to be a game changer year for NJ2AS for 2020. That's really the most critical thing. So keep those tips coming forward. We're working with a couple individuals now about like massive corruption going on from the highest level of government of New Jersey down. And remember, another critical thing, Dan, we totally forgot to mention. When we launched our undercover investigations in 2015, and we went after the Orange Towns, we went after Edison, New Brunswick. Who else did we go? We went after
Jackson.
Jackson was a big one.
Yeah.
We went after like 20 towns in 2015, and ironically, within a couple weeks, almost every single one of those towns had the FBI coming in and cracking down. So why don't we work together, help us out? I would love to see the federal government come down, crack down on these towns' violations and the laws that they're breaking, and illegally enforcing. Something that nobody ever talks about. We don't have to file lawsuits. The federal government can sue a state for civil rights violations, right? And if we properly document these things, and properly relay them, I guarantee you.
I love this guy, Greg Morrison. He's great. I love it.
I guarantee you the federal government could possibly come down and maybe take action so that we don't have to waste our precious resources.
Hold on, I'm gonna chat Greg. Actually, want to make some substantive point.
So we're gonna sign off. There's a lot
I'll hang on for a minute. I want Greg to talk to me. Look, Greg, I get it. You don't like us. You don't agree with us. That's fine, man. I don't like a lot of people. Give me a substantive argument. Tell me where I'm wrong or he's wrong. If you think I'm ugly or fat, or at least, shit, you want to spam the chat, go ahead. But at least give me something to respond with. You're not even giving me a chance to answer you. I'll hang on for 5 minutes if he wants to say something substantive. Stop trying to shoot the coronavirus. Outer Limits watches our videos. I like that.
We'll give him the book.
I should give him the book.
Yeah.
Outer Limits. DM me. If your DM beats anybody else with the correct answer to the questions we asked when I check this later, I'll give you the book.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, Shooting Blanks by Alan Gottlieb. It's a signed book. It has Alan's signature. And for those of you that do not know the Second Amendment Foundation, you got to go check them out. They are responsible for over 80% of the positive Second Amendment cases we have in the United States. And they've also always helped us out in New Jersey. So it's a signed book by Alan Gottlieb. Here's a signature right here. He takes a personal note. He's a great guy, great friend of the Second Amendment and NJ2AS. I can't imagine what the United States would be if it wasn't for his activism and his aggressive tactics and his results. That's really what matters.
He's one of the most
iconic.
I don't think he gets enough credit as probably being the forefront of the Second Amendment movement in the country. We won't get into a political debate about groups, but that man we owe a debt of gratitude to. He's a fantastic individual.
So he's donated a bunch of books to NJ2AS, Shooting Blanks, Facts Don't Matter to the Gun Ban Crowd, right here. It's signed by him. That's what we could do right now in regard to giving you guys something back for engaging, being part of the solution here, and helping out.
Yeah, man, it's fine that he's a troll. I don't care. Like, I'm less bothered if he's a troll because he's just masturbating online. But if he actually doesn't like me or doesn't like what I'm saying, I'd love to talk about it. But that's fine. So he's at The Armed Vegan and I'm at DFrancisco7. Reach out to us, Lace. I'm going to be driving home and evading breaking the law with the executive order on my way home, and then I'm just giving the police an opportunity to come find me now. And I'll respond to all of you guys tonight. I'll be up till some ungodly hour.
No, there's an exception for romantic partners.
Oh, yeah, I'm transgender now, so he's my partner. We're all good. Felipe de Souza Portuguese. Yeah, Felipe, you'll laugh your ass off. I got pulled over once. I mean, I don't really get into trouble when I get pulled over now, but I got pulled over once years ago, like when I was younger, by a state trooper who was Brazilian, and I didn't say anything to him, and he took my driver's license, and he's like, I didn't say anything. I was just like, here you go. He's like, are you Portuguese? I was like, yeah, and he's like, all right, and he let me go just because of that. So I got the white Portuguese privilege, and I got out of a ticket for nothing. So Cubans should not be vegan. Rob, thank you. Call this guy out for the puss that he is.
You sound like my grandmother right now. Yeah. Please stop. Come on.
No need for guns. No need for guns. I don't call cops. All right. How does Jennifer feel about Alexander dating Daniel? Jennifer, she's in a modern throuple. She understands how these things work.
Yeah. Well, she's a feminist, so she'll understand.
Did you find the Portuguese are more anti-gun? That's a great question. That's kind of a cultural question.
Hey, gun review, I completely agree with you. I challenge any non-vegans to a shootout, and we'll see who wins. And then at that point, you have to become vegan for a week if you lose shooting against me.
Jersey PM, like if you're talking about in Portugal, their culture is like rabidly anti-gun. There's hunters, but like they don't have pistol permits or anything like that. It's kind of like the rest of the Euro trash. And my family's from there, so I say that with privilege. Yeah, they don't have a big gun culture. The ones that come here, it's very odd. Like the ones that come here are the actual like non-lazy ones that are like want to work and are. It's true. Like it's literally like a cultural study. You have like Marxism in Europe. Like every country is like rabidly socialist, and then you have America. So the ones that stay there by nature are going to be more sympathetic to that, and the ones that want to leave that are naturally going to be more open to liberty and you know, having responsibility for themselves. So the ones that come here tend to be, you know, hardworking, and their first generation are all construction workers. Alfred and Philippe can all tell you that they're all construction workers. And then me, the second generation, they do whatever they please. So we're very fortunate. Thank my
gun review. Send me a message on Twitter, the Armed Vegan, or the Armed Vegan is my professional page. Send me a message there.
I'm Portuguese. I challenge them all the time. Jersey PM, you gotta yap with me online after this. I'll catch up with you. We'll have a fucking super box together. I can shoot Alejandro any day of the week. Yeah, join the club. A lot of people can.
Yeah, right. Got to introduce to Alejandro.
Jose Rodriguez, another one. No, we gotta all go. We're gonna go to Fernand's Steakhouse without this clown because he doesn't eat any of that stuff. We're gonna have a Second Amendment rodizio with some nice sangria. We're gonna have a good time. Do I need to give my fingerprint to get a shotgun? All right, good question. Cube Guru, yes. For you to be able to buy the long arm, you need to get an FID card, and part of that process is getting fingerprinting, which is done at Identigo. It's a digital fingerprint. Vegans use pea shooters. Portuguese barbecue rocks. I eat it at least once a week. If I'm not making it at home, I'm going to South River at Royal Barbecue and getting it there. Have you seen the Sebi diet? Blah, blah, blah.
What do I eat? What do I eat? Arm K. I just made my.
His thing is sweets. Like he's got his side business, and every time I come over, he plies me with cookies. You know, Fernand's Steakhouse. My man David Maxim, who's in the chat, he knows we've been going to Fernand's Steakhouse for over 20 years. When we were in the Centurion at Rutgers, when we were 18 or 19 years old, I have a picture of me with the owners of Fernand's Steakhouse with the magazine, and one of them was a former detective at Newark. So they're great guys, great restaurant. The sangria has gone downhill the last 10 years, but the food is still good.
No, Gunner, I don't shoot a 40. I'm actually a 9mm guy. I love the 9mm.
9mm. Just for carry or for just plinking?
You know, we'll chat about that offline.
Yeah, hit us up offline.
I'm sure there's going to be tons of arguments now of what's better around. But listen, the FBI went over 9mm. They did all the scientific testing. It reinforced everything that I've been saying for all these years. It's a very capable round. So, you know, whatever.
To me, it's the same thing. It's the best all-around package.
Yeah,
exactly. Easy to get. Can't DM on you and don't have Twitter, but thank you anyway. How else can Outer Limits? Go to the website, and I'll give you my email. It's dfrancisco, because he's gonna not see it because he gets a bunch of shit all the time. dfrancisco@nj2as.org. I'll get it there, and I'll reply to you there.
Yeah.
Beretta 92FS. I love Beretta. I have that one in Inox. I also have a little Jetfire from. I found out. I looked at the serial numbers from 1968. It's the old Bond gun. Love Beretta. Yeah, No, DFrancisco7 is my Twitter. If it's the email, it's
Just go to-
dfrancisco@nj2as.com.
Yeah, go to NJ2AS.org, go to the contact page. You can message us on there, and we'll address any of your concerns. I saw somebody just mentioning about having a delay. It's NJ2AS.org. Once again, that's where you can become a member. That's where you can make a donation, or you can file a complaint with us. Go to the contact us, or go to resources and go on file a complaint. Second Amendment violation complaints. It's all there on the website.
Let's see. Still 100 people here, man. I'm inclined to keep going for a little bit while.
I'm really, really angry about the microphone situation. We tested this for like 3 days. I connected with him. I created another live stream. I listed. The sound quality was phenomenal. It's crystal clear. So I know there's a setting there on how to change it. I don't know why that was changed. We went through this a bunch of times. Anyway.
Hector Rodriguez, if you go to Fernandez, say what's up to Terry for me. I know Terry. I think my dad, so my dad's an immigrant. He came here in the 80s, and legally, by the way. And he used to play soccer in the Lisa League. I don't know if any of you that know that league. And I think Terry played in that league. And that's the same league where, like, I think Eusebio played for, like, one season on some team. Like, there's crazy talent in that league in North Jersey. But that's funny that you know Terry. He's a cool dude. Gun sales up 300%. No, the gun sales are up 500% according to the state police. If you go to Fernandez.
Hey, Cash, I just saw your email come through. We definitely will reach out to you. You put your phone number. I was just going to say, I hope you put your phone number. And IT network engineer by trade, which is awesome. Where were you 2 months ago when we were redoing our website, dealing with our security issues? Man, I can't even go there without getting angry. But every day our site's being attacked. I mean, our firewall handles everything, but it's just crazy to think about the things that we have to put up with that other groups don't have to, because of how vicious and intolerant the left is. And that's why they want to constantly shut us down. That's why they constantly want to take our website down. Luckily, we have a top-notch security team now that's addressed all those issues. But it really goes to show the discrimination that's happening. They want to shut down our voice on the internet so that we cannot disseminate disinformation. They want to shut down our voice at the State House so that we cannot ask questions to the governor. And they want to shut every aspect of the Second Amendment down and be able to silence and muzzle us, which is absurd. If this was any other issue, there would be rioting and burning down, neighborhoods. But because you and I are civilized human beings, we don't act that way. But then we're being treated like criminals.
Somebody's asking what range do we shoot at?
Central Jersey Rifle and Pistol, hands down, the best gun range, probably in the entire East Coast. I highly advocate checking it out. It's a private range, so you do have to go to a membership meeting and so forth. But I love that range.
I'm partial to private ranges. I don't like going to public ranges. I don't like going there and some twat is muzzle sweeping people because he's taking pictures for Facebook. I'm a member at Union Hill Gun Club. I love Rocco. I love Ira.
Awesome club.
Ira, I buy all my guns from him. He's got something waiting for me in a week for me to go pick up after my 30 days are done. But I'm just in general, like, they're local to me. They're literally 3 minutes down the road from my house. I'm a big advocate of supporting local businesses. I'll pay a couple extra bucks to support my neighbor. And as long as I have a good relationship with a vendor, I will always go there if they treat me right. So Union Hill Gun Club, I'm a member. We do speeches there
as well.
They let us do meetings there. Like, they're all of them are great guys. I love them.
I love Union Hill Gun Club. They're a proud platinum sponsor.
The best
sponsors we can get. From day one, before they even opened, they reached out to us and said, "We love the work that you guys are doing. We're going to donate $10,000 platinum sponsorship." And it was just incredible type of energy that we got from them. And it's because of them we were able to file more lawsuits and do the things that we're doing. Also, Central Jersey Rifle and Pistol, another fantastic club, another proud and amazing sponsor. They've donated money to us to help fight our lawsuits. Good guys there, and I'm proud to be a member of both. Check them out. We can send you more information. Just reach out to us, and we'll connect you guys.
Yeah, and like I said, if you just have your own organic idea, hey, I think I can contribute with this activism. I think I can contribute with, I build code, or you do video editing or something. Maybe we'll give you an NDA and you can help edit video, anything. If there's something you think you can do that we think is valuable to what we're trying to accomplish, we'll talk to you. Reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do.
I would love to focus more on the activism,
That's the most important
on
thing.
the journalism aspect of it. There are tons of stories that we have to write about. There's tons of content out there that we have to document. Between meetings in the State House, press conferences and so forth, that we have to go out there. I would love to have a team of 2 or 3, videographers to be sitting there.
Videographers. Are those different from videographers?
Whatever. Video, whatever.
That
can help record multiple angles of the press conferences. For example, perfect example. While I'm trying to film the governor and the Colonel Callahan, I have armed guards surrounding me from behind. So I'm sitting there on my cell phone, like pretending to take a selfie, and they have 2 armed guards coming up behind me, just standing there trying to intimidate me. And they were not there the day before because they were surrounding the governor. Now they look at us as a threat for some reason. Now they're surrounding us with their armed guards. So I would love to have another person with a video camera recording me with the armed guards watching over us.
Put it this way, right? Say there's one particular town, like we know there's hotbeds of controversy. The Newarks, the Pattersons, the Trends, right? And then there's these like Edison, these like smaller towns, which are you have a reputation for causing issues with permits. If one guy goes in and shows us evidence, that's one thing. Imagine we show up at a council meeting with a camera. He brings his camera with him, and we go, "Council, I have 100 videos of different residents getting denied the ability to apply for a carry permit or getting a runaround about their permits, with the oldest of which is outstanding for 6 months. What is going on?" When you have that kind of evidence, it's very hard for them to not listen to you.
For sure.
So the more activism, the more documented fraud or abuse we have, the easier the case
And
becomes.
you have to shine light onto these issues. We have it documented. We're going to put out a video.
Pun Boogie, don't wait. Just go to the department and ask. Call them up. Record it. Like I said, I've 5 times on this broadcast. Go to them. If they don't answer you, record it. Go to your council meeting and
just reach out to us. Contact section of NJ2AS.org. Contact us. We'll coordinate a call. We can talk about what you're going through. I'll help you document it, even if that requires one of us to go up there and help you record.
Remember, Alex can only do so much, right? Think of all the consequence that we've talked about in this, 2 hours that we've been broadcasting. Going back 5 years, going back to the Christie administration. Think of all the accomplishments we've had. It's pretty much just been him, by himself. 1 or 2 other people. Like, imagine if
that's not true. Listen,
in terms of videos, it's largely been you.
Well,
imagine if we had 50 of them.
Yeah, imagine we had 50 of them. But we have a fantastic team. If it wasn't for Fred
I'm
and
not
Wendy,
putting down the team. I'm talking about volume. I'm talking about
if it wasn't
replication.
and this is a great
scale.
If it wasn't for people like Fred and Wendy that are processing our memberships every day and every week, thousands and thousands of them we would never be able to do the things that we're doing on this aspect of it. So they're out there, they're printing their membership cards, they're printing the envelopes, they're printing out the introductory letters, packing them, and mailing them, and so forth. So people like that are doing a fantastic job with taking that workload off of our plate so that Dan and I can go out there and do the investigative journalism, do the undercover investigations and so forth, so that we can get those results. But it is unity here. It's a great team that we have. But exactly like Dan said, imagine there was 10 of us going out there recording government agencies discriminating against us. We would have concealed carry so fast because of the federal lawsuits we'll be filing.
I guarantee you in urban areas, they're making racial jokes about applicants. I guarantee you. We've already documented one literally saying, well, in our community, our urban community, we had those types of people. Quote, right, in the video. And that was just once we happened to go in chance and record the guy. If we were doing that in 50 towns, 10 times each in the same, you're going to catch gold and we'll be on the front page of every page.
Yeah, look what Dan did with Acorn, right?
I didn't do that.
I'm sorry, yeah. Well, the organization they used to work for. They went to multiple Acorn offices and videotaped Acorn. These are Acorn representatives, employees, telling the person that, oh, it's okay to get a 14-year-old in these procedures. Oh, you're prostituting 14-year-old? No problem. We'll help you out to write that off as a tax expense and so forth. And they videotape these individuals doing these things. After those videos came out, the former head legal director, President Obama, who was the head of the legal department at Acorn, had to sign legislation to defund Acorn. Right? They didn't sit there and play patty cake with the politicians and argue and complain and cry about it. They went there, they captured it, they documented it, they put it out there for the world to see.
Democrat in the White House, Democrat House, Democrat Senate.
So it's irrelevant. We know these things are going on.
Yeah.
We know this discrimination is going on.
This is to make this relevant to us. It's not that we're like being sarcastic and mean to the people who tell us, "I'm waiting for my permit. What can I can't help you. I can help you if you show me the evidence, if you show me the video, if you document, if you listen to the instructions we've shared, and if I'll answer it again. If anybody needs help, reach out to me, and I'm glad to instruct you step by step what you should do and what you should say. But if you come to us, that's how we can get this done. Unfortunately, just doing this is what everybody else does. We can't do that.
John, I just got your email. That was actually a talking point on our notes here about the governor signing an executive order that stripped away our right to be able to get insurance, or let's call it coverage for people to get frivolous lawsuits against them if you ever use any type of firearm or weapon in self-defense. And that's a great point. It's something that we're working on. I promise you, we're working on. We were at that press conference. I got to ask the governor a couple questions there. Never had an issue at that time with me asking questions. Suddenly now it's an issue. But it's something, it's definitely being worked on. I can't really say much more about it. The problem is like every other problem. We were working on that in September, and then something else happened, and then something else happened, and then something else happened. And that's how it's like they flood us with these violations of Second Amendment rights. Then we have to prioritize what's most important. The red flag law was a major one. That's a big lawsuit we have right now going on against the state in federal court. But that's also a very personal issue with me because we were an affiliate of an organization providing this coverage, and that got canceled on us. Let me go back to your question. But it's ridiculous to think that they call it murder insurance, right? But one of the tactics they use in New Jersey is if you ever used a firearm to protect yourself, your home, or your family, your loved ones, they will come after you if you don't have a perfect scenario of using self-defense.
Very specific.
Yeah. Because they want to deter people from ever being able to use firearms. They don't care about anything else but making sure that you don't have the right to be able to use a gun to protect yourself.
While they are absolved.
While they're absolved, and we have the laws right there. It's I forgot the section. It's in one of my packets there.
Just look up Supreme Court Castle versus Gonzalez.
But New Jersey has specific laws about that too.
Yeah, but I mean the Supreme Court's the law of the land.
Yeah.
Like just look from the top down. They don't have to protect you. Couple other questions. Cash.
But John, just to get back to John, totally understand. Very valid point. Very valid question. Very valid concerns. It is on our book of lawsuits and things that we're going to be working on. So stay tuned for that.
Do you have a list of? Do we have an actual running list of donor FFLs? Like I said, mine is Legends Firearms in Monroe, New Jersey.
From where though? We'll tell you.
He's asking if do we have a list of all
the sponsors? Yeah,
the FFLs that donate to us. So they're saying they want to patronize those businesses.
Yeah, of course. Where is he coming from?
He's asked. He's not saying. He just wants a list. He just wants to know like how many. Just comment
if there's a specific area you're looking for. But we are developing the sponsors section of the website. We'll get that information up. So before you ever do business anywhere, just go to the sponsorship section of the website. We don't have that up right away, but support those businesses that support us. Let's be very clear about that.
Marcus Max, how can we arrange to host an NJ2AS event at our range? Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on the email. Talk to me. If we have something that we have to discuss, we'll come to your range. We'll throw a meeting. It's not that we won't. We don't want to become a social club. If we have a meeting, it's because we have news to share or we have new offensive maneuvers to discuss and plan. I don't want to be the guys that just like get together for oh yeah, what's up, man? I'll go have a beer with you on our own. I'll meet you and hang out with you for fun. But if we have a meeting, I want it to be purposeful. I want it to be consequential. People are giving us money, and I don't want to be wasting their time. You know, I want to make sure that we're using it efficiently using their resources.
Sergio, you just sent us an email. Reloaders, they actually reached out to us without us even contacting them, giving us glowing review and thanking us for what we've been doing. So we will definitely be reaching out to them. I want to see how we can work with reloaders in New Jersey. They seemed very excited about our work and our activism and so forth. So we'll definitely be reaching out to them. If you want to help us out too and speak to the owners and say, hey, we're doing great work. You love what we've been doing. So that we can all work in unity on this. And hopefully maybe we can get some type of meeting going on there, because I heard great things about it. I haven't had the chance to stop by there and check it out. But reloaders did reach out to us. They did send us a fantastic note, and I was really happy. They made us very proud. I think I shared it with you as well. So, yeah, reloaders coming up soon, I hope. So, Sergio, talk to them. We'll reach out to them as well, and let's see what we can all do together.
Keith P. sounds like Dan is saying we need victors, not victims. Not exactly sure what you mean by that, but follow up and I'll answer. PJ Talks Podcast. As an amputee in an urban community, I would definitely help the fight for the right to carry interstate. PJ Talks Podcast. DFrancisco7 at DFrancisco7 on Twitter, or DFrancisco at NJ2AS.com. I want to talk to you. We can definitely work something together. What's wrong with drugs? Nothing's wrong with drugs, man. Email them. Cool. Like I said, Greg's just trolling, guys, so don't worry about it.
I thought we put him on.
No, he logged back on. It's fine. Are you people from New Jersey? Yes, Greg. Yes, we are. What can we silence? What can we do to silence the opposition? I want to answer that. That's a great question, Marcus. I want to do nothing to silence them. I want them to talk more, right? That people have this look, you can't prove that they're wrong if they don't dig their own grave. I'm a big fan of if we were to have a debate. I've been trying to get a debate going with one of these other groups like Moms Demand. How much of this do I want to say? You want to, the way you convince your opponent about being right or wrong about an issue is not through like superior intellect, right? Because most people, even if they're wrong, if you just shout correct, complex platitudes at them, they mentally don't concede, and they'll just engage in like throwing platitudes and insults back at you. And both parties listening to that, like the two camps, the two gangs, the pro-gun, the anti-gun, they just both think their own side won, and they go their separate ways, right? The way you win intellectual debates is not by telling them why you're right. It's by making them explain how they're wrong, but moreover, making them explain what they don't know, right? Because the biggest thing about the Second Amendment conversation is not that we have adversaries that are powerful and numerous. It's that we have adversaries that are numerous and don't know anything, right? They don't know what a semi-automatic means. They don't know what a machine gun means. They don't know what carry means. They don't know what universal background check means, which we already have. They don't understand that we have a background check that we go through the federal government and through our state, and it's duplicative, right? They don't know any of these things. So when you guys are talking to people that hate, the Second Amendment, don't engage them in like, oh, this is America, Second Amendment, and constitutional rhetoric. Like, you're not going to get through to their simple brain. Just have them explain to you why the status quo we have is legitimate and why we need every step. Let them answer that, because they can't. And neither can the politicians. So that's just a little aside on how you win on that. I want to talk about the murder insurance. You guys know that like there's a such thing as like directors in corporate insurance. Like, companies buy insurance for their board of directors and their corporate officers, their C-suite, so that if they ever like commit a crime, it's like the company is not, well, they're liable for it, but the insurance like picks it up, like covers them. So ironically, like even though they've banned the like self-defense insurance, if you're doing white collar crime, you can commit all the fraud you want and they'll sell you an insurance policy to cover that. AIG, like all those big firms in Manhattan, they all sell those products to big corporations in New Jersey. And New Jersey is all pharmaceutical companies, huge multinational companies that have that kind of stuff.
Yo, Pun Boogie, RTSB, great friends, great supporters of NJ2AS. Definitely give them support when you can. They're good guys there. Gun for Hire as well. Anthony's a good friend. Great supporters out there. So, I mean, I think that's the majority of the gun ranges. So,
tell Alex to invite Brian Miller. I don't know about that. I don't even know who that is, but whatever.
He's irrelevant.
All right, that's good advice for Baba. Can you guys, every time I move this, like the chat goes back up. Can you recommend a good shop or two in North Jersey? Reach out to Alex and he'll give you the list of all the supporters we have that donate to us.
PJ Talks Podcast. That's DFrancisco at NJ2AS.com.
All right, let's make sure we got nothing on Twitter. Let's see if anybody.
John, you're right.
Podcast guy, reach out to me.
Yeah, John, you are correct. It is not insurance. Just to clarify, it's not insurance. It's coverage that they provide to their members or wherever they structure it.
Message request. There's someone's asking, any chance you guys will be standing up for? Any chance you guys will be standing up for MMP patients to be allowed ownership? Do you know what that is, Alex? I don't know what that is. I'm responding back. If you want to clarify, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, leave him alone, man. I don't care. Thanks, Pun Boogie.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, yeah, we're getting down the wire. All right, guys. If there's anything that we missed, anything that was vague, we gave you the contacts a million times. I'll write it one more time in the chat. Reach out to us, and we'll follow up with you. If you like this, we'll make this a regular thing. We got over 200 people at a peak. Maybe we can get a few more. And if you know anyone in the anti-movement, medical marijuana program. Wait, let me see what the question was. Where was that? Any chance you guys will be standing up for medical marijuana patients to be allowed ownership? Is that that precludes you? It precludes you?
You know what?
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm all for drug legalization, so I think all of that stuff is stupid. I never even crossed my mind because one of the questions is, are you a drunkard or a drug abuser, right? But technically, you're not abusing it, I guess, if you're prescribed it medically. I mean, people take a bunch of benzodiazepines for things, and they're. So I'm not knowledgeable on that. I'm not Scotty Ducati. I'm not knowledgeable on that. I would imagine it doesn't preclude you, but I'm not sure. I agree this format is more productive because, one, we don't have a bunch of people shouting.
When the microphones work.
And I swear to God, this was working perfectly before. But we'll fix that for next time. Medical marijuana will get you disqualified. Keith P. Maybe. I don't know. I can't give an answer one way or the other. I trust you more than my answer at this point.
That's something that I think even the lawyers are still investigating to find out if it would prohibit you from being able to buy a gun in New Jersey.
You cannot bang a bong under current law. You guys know that marijuana is on a referendum on the ballot this year, so I'm pretty sure marijuana is going to be legal next year. It's not even going to matter. My sister is a person we cannot reach. She said, even if you could show gun ownership made us safer, she said, guns are not civilized and no one should own them. Fair enough. Well, nothing we can do there. Tell her that not to own one and tell her to call the police when she has a problem.
Yeah, and it's her right to not own a gun the same way it's your right to own a gun.
Yeah, we're not here to convince you that I'm right. I don't care. If you don't want to have a gun, fine. That's why I'm very libertarian about things. You want to smoke weed next door? That's fine. Do whatever you want. Leave me alone. I'm not here to be a tyrant, right? That's what we hate about New Jersey. We're not here to dictate people's lives. When it comes to schools and other issues, and like I said, if you guys want to talk about other political issues, hit me up. But in this capacity, we're talking about the Second Amendment. We're not here to be tyrants. We're just here to tell the state not to infringe on our sovereignty. Let us protect ourselves, especially because they have no duty to protect us. This is awesome. Finally, great to see an organization here in New Jersey stand up. PJ Talks. I really hope I get to talk to you, man. Seriously, follow up with me. Your story sounds incredible. You're the exact type of person we want to talk to. So please hit me up and let's dialogue. Rev Biker, you're the man. I want to see your beard, and I'm going to get you a XXL shirt for you to wear on your back with the writing. Marijuana. They can't have weapons. The ranges are still closed. We're working on the ranges, like we said, guys. That's going to come up too. You got to remember too, like in short order, all this is going to go away. Slowly, all the states are opening up, and the state's going to like say, "Oh yeah, see, things are open now. Leave us alone." But it's not forgotten. We're gonna still be offensive on these lawsuits. They're going to have to answer the First Amendment lawsuit, and like I can't wait to put that docket in front of you guys. I want you guys to read that and see every detail we documented about that, because it's really unprecedented what they did to Alexander. Alejandro is more diverse. Papi chulo, all that
Only
stuff.
my family name.
Yeah. Panic BTM. Thanks, man. Great to talk to you guys. Yeah, Robert Stab. It is the irony. Like, we've never had more new gun owners, and they have nowhere to train or practice. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Well, we went over, we discussed this in the beginning. We literally got the entire complaint and lawsuit maybe around 6:30 today. I got to review it tonight and just proof everything, make sure everything's correct and accurate, sign off on it, and the lawyer will hopefully file it tomorrow or Monday. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be unprecedented, and it's going to just restore our First Amendment right in New Jersey.
Will asked, when will this lawsuit happen? Likely.
I just answered that.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry. Mine's in another.
Were you not
place.
next to me, or?
No, I wasn't. I try not to listen when you talk.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Listen, this we can't thank you guys enough. At the end, we're having all of these people. Paul Molinari, Ron, Pun Boogie. The cost of a lifetime membership,
$500. NJ2AS.org. Go over there, click on join.
Just reiterate one more time. I'm not trying to like talk myself up, but I just want to say we are both annual lifetime contributors, and this is how much money we make. We draw no salary whatsoever. We do this because of an unbelievable passion and our love for you guys to fight together so that we can win and increase our rights. So please, like I said, my heart's on my sleeve. I'll talk to anyone. I'll debate anyone. I'll shake hands with anyone. I don't hate anybody. If someone wants to go to a range, if someone wants to have a public debate, I reached out to Mom's Demand online, and is it Brett, whatever her name is? She almost agreed to have a debate with me or have a long form dialogue. We have $1,000 of our money to put up right now, $1,000 that we'll put up to debate them. And it's going to be no moderator. I want like a Joe Rogan style podcast, long form, okay? Not little sound bites on the news. If you watch him on Steve Adubato, what was that, last year? Right? The journalists act like moderators and drive the conversation. Even if you make a great point, they respond to you with an answer that makes you sound evil, right? So the viewer is biased by that. I want to have long-form conversation in front of a crowd of people. I want everyone going in there to be donating $5 to a cause. My cause was St. Jude's Hospital for kids with cancer. It's a personal thing that's important to me. And that way, it's a cause that everyone can get behind of any stripe. And I want to have a long-form conversation, not sound bites, not a 30-second clip where you can memorize something and then get out and run away. I want to have an elongated conversation where you have to back up everything you believe. And I'm happy to do that, and we'll put up the money to have that on a venue. We'll find a venue. If anyone wants to have that dialogue with us, we're game. Let's see. So, Ron, thanks for renewing, man. We got Marcus Max $500. A junior lifetime membership.
No, we have 3 memberships: general, premium, and a life member. You can become a monthly donor, which is a frontline member. Just go to the donate page, click make this a monthly donation. Listen, a lot of guys are always thanking us. They tell me all the time, oh, if I ever reach, I'm going to buy you a beer. I'm going to buy you whatever.
Just donate.
Donate $5 a month.
I'll buy you the beer.
Yeah.
If you want to hang out with us, I'll buy you a beer. I don't care about the $5 beer. I'd rather fund our next lawsuit. I'd rather fund our next attack, our next video. calling Loretta Weinberg a racist, because essentially that's what she is with the gun law she supports. That's how we're going to move the ball forward.
Yeah, exactly. So you can go onto the website now, put in $5 monthly donation, make this a monthly donation, $5, $10, whatever it may be, whatever you can afford. I mean, people message me, hey, I just donated $5. I'm sorry for, the small donation. I'm like, what are you talking about? Paul, it's I don't know what the word is. It's flattering, and we're honored that you would even give us $5 to help us out in our lawsuits and our activism and our news department. There's no donation too big or too little. This is about the collective effort from all of us, and every dollar counts. That's really what it matters. I give a couple bucks every month to, certain campaigns because I'm buying them a cup of coffee. I'm buying them a beer. And that's kind of how I help these organizations do it.
Gunner View, down for the beer. When this quarantine nonsense is up, you guys may have seen some of my videos. I have a bar in my basement. I'll invite all of you guys over and we can hang out in my basement and talk about this all night long.
Yeah.
Paul Molinari, you should have a donation function. I'm glad you asked that. We actually can't. You have to have a specific designation called C3, and we're a C4. The reason we can overtly talk about political issues, overtly talk about candidates and advocate against and for, overtly political discussions and about campaigns.
Yeah.
That's why we have the flexibility of being a C4. We can talk about anything and it's not illegal. A C3 is an organization that's just like an advocacy group, and they can't enter into the political realm. Like, they can lobby for things, but they can't talk about a campaign or get involved in electioneering. So C3s can go on YouTube, and we can't. So that's just a function.
Yeah, it's a C3. We looked into it already.
Yeah.
If you're a C3, you're just an education group. You're a social group. You can't do the things that we're doing.
Marcus Max, what's the minimum age for a member, and can we do a payment plan? There's no minimum age. And yes, if you go on the donate link at the top of the page on our homepage, there is an option to either do a one-time payment or recurring payments. A lot of our members do recurring payments. So for some people, buying a lifetime membership, I totally get that. Like $500 is a lot of money, especially now in this time. So we'll say, hey, just make it a $10 monthly payment. I'd rather that, and you're comfortable doing that, than donating some large amount of money that makes you uncomfortable. So it's always an option to do small incremental monthly payments. Paul Molinari, I'll drink a beer with you, man. Beer is vegan. Thanks, Marcus. Alexander and I, look, one of our favorite things is after we get a big win, is that we get a high off of this, right? This is like a drug. Like, I wake up in the morning, and when I get a text from Alexander, like, oh shit, did you hear this? I'm like, oh, like, I get excited. Like, I don't care about my job so much. Like, this is the stuff that gets my heart pumping. And when you win, it's important to celebrate victories, right? So that's when we go out for a beer. Like, when we got a compliant, I won't say which town it was. We got compliance on a town a long time ago. And we were done. We were so happy. And we went out and just drank a couple of beers, it was the best feeling in the world. So it's important to celebrate victories after you work hard. Amazon Smile, I think, is that C3s as well? Yeah. Most of these programs are going to be C3s, and here's why. Because we can overtly politic, corporations don't want to be seen as contributing to that. They like neutral things like, the Red Cross is a C3, or anything that doesn't overtly politic. Then they can be seen as ideologically neutral when they endorse these companies getting a portion of the proceeds. Same thing with YouTube. We will never be able to do those, unfortunately. That's why we have to solicit directly from our members.
Let's start wrapping up.
Got any? Why are we so rushed to leave? People are asking questions.
Well, we gotta, give a.
Can we use PayPal to pay for membership? That's a question.
Yes, it's on there. NJ2AS.org, and you go to the member sign up form. Put in your name, your address, your email, your phone number, whatever it may be. On the bottom of it, it's a credit card fill out form. You fill out the credit card information, and that's it. It's done. If you go to the donation tab, just click on donate one time or monthly, whatever it may be, and process the donation through PayPal. It's all done. It's streamlined, and everything's there.
Assuming, Robert Stagg, assuming you win the federal lawsuit, will Phil Murphy be held personally responsible?
No.
He's protected.
He's
in his
protected.
position. This is the same thing. It's the same thing with the police that we keep telling you.
Yeah.
I can be getting stabbed in my house. Call the police. The police can be like, okay, and they can park in my driveway and not come in, and I could be dead, and my wife can't sue the police after. It's the same thing with this. Like, he's protected. Your municipal towns, they're protected. They're not protected against like a sexual harassment lawsuit if they can prove that. But in terms of like legislation or policy, there's nothing you can do. It'll overturn it.
Yeah.
We'll overturn it, but they're not going to like get whipped or something or go to jail or have a fine or anything like that.
It makes me cringe every time I have to read these lawsuits where it says Governor Phil Murphy in his official capacity, acting in his official capacity, which is like their veil, the way to protect themselves. You know, oh, I'm acting in my official capacity. I made a mistake. Therefore, the taxpayers should have to pay for for the damage that I've caused. It's absurd. I don't agree with it. You would have a very, very different government if they were personally liable.
Yeah,
financially.
imagine you applied that to getting pulled over, right? Yeah. Say every time you got pulled over for a speeding ticket, and
I just saw your $20 come in. Thank you.
Say every time you got pulled over for a speeding ticket, and they hand you the citation. Maybe you weren't speeding, maybe you were. And you plead not guilty and enter a petition for discovery, right? I want all the evidence against me from this accusation. And they have none, right? Theoretically. This is all theory. And they have none. Imagine if there was a policy where every time someone accused you of a crime from government and then they had no evidence or they lost it in court, then that accuser had to personally fund your damages, or their pension had to personally fund your damages. What would be the result of that? You would see citations drop to like nothing because they would only do it when they unequivocally know they're correct and they have support of it. This is the same thing. There's no liability from them. That's why they can wantonly do whatever they want. They're covered. Someone else asked a question here I wanted to address. I have been a New Jersey gun owner since 1974, and I've seen so many restrictions over the years. I have fought and letter wrote and protested. It is time to try to take some rights back. Ryan, I appreciate that, but like the overwhelming, the sort of thesis that we've had over the last 3 hours is that's not our bag. If that's what you're into, writing letters, protesting, God bless, go do it. That's not what we do. We do offensive-minded activism. We document fraud. We document malfeasance, and then we use it to attack, in addition to the legal lawsuits, which we fight in the courts. So everything we do, here's the difference. This is going to be the subtle way that you can categorize what we like and what we don't like, what we are and what we're not. Okay? If what you're describing is people responding to the government, that's not what we do. That's what other people do. If what you're talking about is forcing the government to respond to us, that's what we do.
Yeah. We
engage in lawsuits because it forces the government to answer us. It forces them to take a position in court and address, the tyrannical behavior. When we document people and approach their bosses, it forces them to defend their position to us as a community, and either prove that it's legal or change it. I have this much interest in spending my time holding a sign, writing letters. They all go in the trash. Emails are auto-ruled in Outlook trash. They don't get read. I'm not belittling it. I just think it's ideologically a waste of time. It's not what we're into. How can we buy a membership with no name on it?
Good question.
Are you saying like donate anonymously? I mean, I think to run the credit card transaction, to run the credit card transaction, you'd have to verify, credit card information. I mean, you could write a check. I don't know how else you could do it anonymously.
Yeah, I mean, you can mail us a check. We have all that information on our website.
But obviously, that's going to have identity on it. But I don't know. If you have an idea, reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to me on email, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. I love GOA, blah, blah, blah. Send cash. Don't send cash in the mail. Please don't do that. The USPS opens anything they want. Like if they see a letter and there's something in it, I want you guys to try this. I did this a long time ago. I bought a random, I think it was challenge coins, because I kept sending somebody something and they kept saying, I'm not getting it. I'm getting it opened and the thing is not in it. So then I went to 5 different towns and dropped the same letter. It was an empty piece of paper inside an envelope with a challenge coin, like a 50-cent challenge coin. And I sent them from 5 different postal offices to myself. All 5 of them arrived ripped without the coin in it. So please do not send us cash in an envelope. Either give it to him in person or send it through another medium. Even though crypto,
Cash in and out.
we should set up a way to accept crypto. That's something we need to work on. Do we publish a membership list?
No,
Absolutely
no,
not.
absolutely not.
Do you know what? Do you get like where we're coming from? How distrusting of government we are? Like, no, absolutely not. No way.
No, our. I mean, I'm not going to talk about our internal security procedures, but our membership list is. We don't share it. We don't sell it. We don't do anything with it. We don't rent it. Some people are, some people. I guess there's membership lists where I could pay to have our stuff sent out to. We do not do any of that. Everything we have is organically grown, and everything we share is our own content.
This is grassroots, man.
Yeah, grassroots.
There's nobody. We don't have a group above us giving us money. It's a small community of people working behind the scenes to make everything you see happen. We run on your donations. That's it. Oh yeah, if you're asking about like FFLs and stuff, yes, the sponsors is different. If an FFL, well, we respect anonymity if they wish, right? If an FFL wants to donate and says, hey, I want to give you money, but don't put my name on your site. Fair, we won't. We'll accept the money and that's it. However, most FFLs by nature want the advertising. So, and we want to advertise them as being part of our community, right? These are the people that are on our side. So yes, we'll publish like a company that, an FFL or a gun dealer or a training company like Rock. We will absolutely advertise them if they want us to. But for individual, like people, we don't keep a repository. It's all protected, and we would never share that ever.
All right. Guys, we'll see you next week, probably Wednesday or Thursday. We'll do it again. We're going to have great updates for you on our lawsuits and other activism.
We'll talk about the docket, and our sound will be working.
And our sound will be working.
Hit me up. I'll be up all night talking to you guys.